think he went to special ed and he got autism, so we
He
just
don't
gotta be
even, you
nice
know
to
what's
him.
so crazy, bro? He don't really, and I'm just being honest, he don't really give me that vibe like he was dumb or special ed or none of that. He give me the vibe like he grew up a normal person, but just was lame, had no friends, and wanted to find something to be a part of. You know what I'm saying? So he went to Israel or Jerusalem or whatever the fuck he say, became this fake rabbi. We know he's not a rabbi. We know that. He just goes by that name to troll people. But he went to Jerusalem or whatever and became Judaism or whatever it is. And that's it. He wanted to be a part of something. I can tell. You got a grown ass man that like he about 50 every day sitting on here getting cussed out and just saying dumb shit. Don't no
No, I
grown
get what
man
you're
waste their
saying,
time
but
like
this
that.
whole yeah, kill all the children in Gaza and the terrorists, and we gotta kill. Somebody that's normal does not say shit like that.
That's how they all talk though. I swear
I
that's
get
how
it,
they all talk. I done
but
found
he's an
some that
out.
talk worse than him.
I get it, but he's an outsider. Like, why does he go there and say, "Oh, the children in
Bro,
Gaza, they
that's
need to
how
die"? The
some of these people are
it's like
brainwashed.
he
I done
gotta be.
had an argument with a black pastor from my city. He's a Christian Zionist. And I'm trying to convince him, how the fuck do you support Zionism when Zionism doesn't even believe in Jesus? I can understand, all right, Islam, we have differences. Y'all don't believe he was divine, y'all don't believe he died on the cross. That's the difference. But to say that Jesus was lying and a piece of shit, his mother was a whore, and he's in hell burning, that's totally different. So as a Christian, how could you support anything that has to do with that? That's what loses me on the basics of this shit.
As a
What did he
Christian,
say? What did he
if the
say?
Jews didn't kill Jesus, we wouldn't have Christianity. So I thank them for killing
But listen
Jesus.
though, at the end of the day, I understand that. But what you need to understand is
So
God
what
doesn't make
did he say?
mistakes.
Did this guy just thank them for killing Jesus?
No, listen, God
Because
doesn't
then he
make
wouldn't have
mistakes.
ascended
What a
into
dumb guy, man.
godhood, and that's the point of the
So you know what a
miracle of
lot
the
of people don't
resurrection.
know? A lot of people don't know that the term Christianity was made as a slander when we first started being called Christians. It wasn't a good thing to be called Christians. You feel what I'm saying? So a lot of people think that, oh, if they wouldn't have killed, they never, Judaism didn't even start to after Christianity. Judaism started after the burning of the second temple. And to be honest with you, that's what they just say. It really started because they killed Jesus, and they wanted Judaism is basically their way of rejecting Jesus. The Star of David is the rejection of Christ. You feel what I'm saying? It has to do with he scares me. I just still try to respect it because I respect others' religion. But that shit don't make no sense. That's why it pisses me off that a black man decided to be, oh, I'm Judean, I'm Jewish. What about you? First of all, you sound like you're Nigerian. You don't sound fucking Middle Eastern at all. You don't sound American or nothing. You's just a lost dumb fuck.
Wait, what?
No, I'm talking about Black Rabbi, not you, bro.
Oh, Black Rabbi. Oh, by the way, Black Rabbi, I fully support the state of Israel. I believe Israel has the right to defend itself
No,
and
he was
exist.
talking to you, NPC. He was talking to you when he said he's a dumb fuck.
No, I was
He's
talking to
asking
Black
you
Rabbi,
the
talking
same
about
thing.
Black Rabbi. I don't even know, dude. I didn't know
Did
what his
he?
name.
Didn't he?
I heard.
NPC, do you support Israel right to exist by ethnically cleansing Palestinians?
You say what?
People in Gaza.
Hold
Not
on,
talking
hold
to you.
on, hold on, Black Rabbi, mute the fuck up. NPC, do you support something, a state like, Israel by ethnically cleansing Palestinians from the land? Does it have a right to exist?
Um, in terms of a moral argument, I don't think that morality exists. I do think that, like, if we're talking about morality, people being displaced by force is a bad thing. But as you can see, what's happening with Venezuela, what's been, what happened
Can
between
we
Russia
can
and
we stick to
Ukraine,
Israel, please? Can
that the
I said
world,
I said does this?
I'm
Yeah,
answering your
yeah. Please
question.
answer. Do not do
I,
whataboutism.
I, I believe my opinion has a right to exist. That's the first thing.
I'm
In
talking
my
about the state
opinion,
of Israel. Does the state of
yeah, I
Israel
know,
has a
but
right to exist
why can't I just
by
answer the
killing?
question?
Stick to Israel
Yeah, I know you
Palestine.
want a yes or no question so we can get emotionally
Yes,
triggered
yes,
and
yes, yes or no, yes or
have the
no, yes
conversation
or
that
no.
way.
It's a yes or no
No, it's not a
question.
yes or no question because I
It is
guess
a
I
yes or
answered the
no
way that I
question. I
want.
didn't ask you the
No, it's not.
explanation. No, if I wanted explanation, I would have asked you for it.
Yeah, well then don't ask my opinion. Talk to somebody else.
Okay, so you can't say yes or no.
It's not a
Anybody in their
yes or no
right
question
fucking
to me
mind, it
because
is, it is.
it's a
Anybody in
complicated
their right,
issue.
no, it's not. Anybody in the
It's a
right fucking
complicated
mind,
issue.
bro, hang on. Anybody in their right fucking mind, if somebody was to ask them, does Israel have a right to exist by ethnically cleansing Palestinians? The answer would be no. Ethnically, you could say religiously, morally, is fucking wrong at so many levels. You don't kill native
Yeah, but
people. You
I
don't,
said it was wrong morally, and I was
yeah,
explaining
yeah.
that nation
Eh,
states don't work with
And
the
according to
type with
international law as well.
morality.
According to the UN, there's a UN resolution that says right of return. It hasn't been respected since 1948. You see what I'm saying?
That's
So international
unfortunate.
law, no, the international law says they should accept these people and allow them to come back into their homes. They have deeds, paperwork, property, whatever. So anybody in the right mind would be like, nope, it should not. But in your case, you want to booty clap for Israel so badly. So you're just gonna be like all over the place. Look at what's happening in Venezuela. Look at what's happening over there. Look what's happening over there. That's called derailment, and a lot of Zionists do that. Thank you.
Mary, the argument you're making is just it doesn't make
It's
sense.
not. It's a simple argument. Does Israel have a right to exist by ethnically cleansing Palestinians? It's a yes or no question.
But
What
you
I'm
just
saying?
said that they don't.
I said anybody in their right mind would say no. The way it
Exactly.
was
So you just
established,
answered the question.
no, I'm making the claim that anybody that's logically speaking would be like no. But in your case, you cannot answer the fucking question by just saying yes or no.
I don't think it's that simple. But
Okay,
the
what
thing
would
is
you
that
answer?
the
Let's
thing
hear you.
is
I'll
the
give you.
the the
I'll
the,
give you
the
60
thing is
seconds.
the
Go
thing
on.
is
Respond the way you want to respond.
the
Go on.
thing. Wow, you gave me the right to speak and the right to have my
Yes,
own
yes,
opinion.
yes,
Thank you for
yes,
that.
yes. I know, I
I
know. I'm gonna,
thank you
because I
so
look
much
at you as a
for giving
bullshitter.
me
Now
the
go
right
on.
to be.
Yeah, go on. Speak.
Yeah.
No, they only like stupid black people like Cash.
It's
That's what it
nothing to do
is.
with blackness. Stop using a
Yeah, it
fucking
does.
black
It does.
card. Stop doing
No,
that.
it is. You only
Stop
like
doing.
black
Stop
people that
using
are
the race
stupid.
card, motherfucker. On your Twitter page, you don't even think you're a black American.
Why do you keep saying that?
Shut
Like
your
it's the
fucking mouth.
stupidest.
Shut your
It's the
fucking mouth. And
stupidest.
let NPC. I gave him 60 seconds.
Yeah,
Go on, NPC.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
And of spreadsheets. Yeah. So for me, when it comes to like the actions of nation states in war, when I see people who have sympathy and empathy for what the Palestinians are going through, as a human, of course, that makes sense to have empathy. When I'm thinking in general from a geopolitical aspect, I'm like, if you're against what's happening in Palestine, you should just be anti-war. And I think people should be more anti-war than they are right now, because that's just what war is. And war doesn't happen for moral reasons. War, by kind of every single time, it's about resources or security. Um, and it's never fair, it's never moral. The behavior of nation states are never the same type of morality of an interpersonal relationship as a civilian. If I go up to my neighbor and I kick him in the knee for no reason, that's bad. If if North Sudan starts killing the South Sudanese, that's really, really bad. But at the end of the day, no matter how bad you call it, the only way to stop it is to have a greater force. So as long as Israelis have better technology, a better military than the Palestinians, it's not going to end. And it's unfortunate, but that's just the way that war is. That's why the shit in Venezuela is happening. That's why the shit in Ukraine is happening. It's always about power and resources, and the people who have the most power and the most resources are going to win.
He didn't even answer my question. What a retard. Anyways, that's the problem with dumbass Americans. They come on this fucking app, they get on a free app like this, they can't even answer a fucking simple question.
You
In
like dumb black
1947,
people.
yeah, it's nothing to do with. Stop
Yeah,
fucking using
it
a
is.
race card.
You
Stop
support
using a
this
fucking
guy
race card.
Cash, so
Stop
it
doing
makes
the
no
race
sense.
card. Stop using the race card. In
Why? Why?
1947, hold on. I'm gonna school this idiot NPC now. In 1947, can you please tell us, was it a war or was it ethnic cleansing that happened? Go on, educate us today. 47 and 48, when the state was established, was it ethnic cleansing or was it a fucking war?
It was a war.
Okay, when was the war? Was it in 47 or 48?
Both of those were wars.
No, in 47, they were literally ethnically cleansing villages, one after
Uh,
another. In 48, they put a flag up by calling it Israel. That's when the other countries came in to help the Palestinian brothers to, solve this matter, to,
no, and then they
get rid
lost
of
the
these
war,
occupiers.
right?
And
The
guess what
other people
happened?
coming in to help. What was that?
Hold on. They came in because they were resisting.
No, no, no.
According to, yeah,
I'm not talking
uh-huh.
about, I'm saying that the other people coming in and
Uh-huh.
supporting them, you agree with the people coming in. I
How
don't
was it?
agree or
How
disagree.
was it?
Let's
Hold
slow
on.
down. Wait, let's slow
Okay,
down.
in
You agree with
47,
the
how
people
was it
coming in to
started?
help the Palestinians back in 1947. My
No,
thing
in
is that I'm not
48, in
agreeing,
48, in
1948.
48,
I'm not
48.
I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with the moral. Everything is in moral language with you. I'm just speaking about
Okay.
the fact that in 1948 it was a war, and you don't want to call it a war because the
Oh,
people who helped decide that you like, you don't want to call it a war because a war is seen as an equivalent exchange of violence, and you don't want to do that. You want to make it seem like it's one way extermination for no reason. It was a
okay,
war,
But that's what
and they're
it
okay,
is.
still
okay,
in
It's
a
not a
war.
war.
And
okay. I
right now, the
want you.
Palestinians are
Hold on
losing
a
the
second.
war, and it's causing a lot of suffering on their part.
Okay,
If
okay.
people
I'm
want to
gonna.
call it ethnic cleansing, I'm not going to
Uh,
disagree with that.
in 47, it started in 47. The war happened in 48 after they called it Israel by force. So
Okay,
they
so
were,
then they lost the war.
hold
They
on, NPC,
lost.
hold on. In 47, they started ethnically cleansing Palestinian villages. And they didn't have a choice but to resist. So the other countries came together with the Palestinians after these demonic pieces of shit, these colonizers, they colonized the land, stole their property, stole their land, and then they wanted help. So that's why they asked the neighboring countries. They came together to help them out. They were not well prepared. They didn't have proper equipment. They didn't have proper uniform, and they fought against the Zionist criminals, terrorists, fucking pieces of shit. And guess what? They lost the war. And by the end of 1948, you had a UN mediator came around to mediate the situation between the Arabs and the Jews. And he wrote a whole bunch of reports. He was a threat to the Zionist terrorist criminals. And guess what they did? They assassinated him. He was a UN mediator. His name is Berndot. And the UN resolution was established, right of return. It's called UN resolution, right of return. That more than 750,000 people that were kicked out, either some left out of fear because they were told by some of the people that they'll be allowed back. And they heard stories about other villages getting ethnically cleansed, raped, killed, butchered, slaughtered. That's how this state of Israel was, established in 48. If something was established by force, it doesn't have the right to exist. That was my whole fucking argument from the jump. But mental retard like you could not answer a fucking simple question. I was talking about 47, 48. That's how the state was established. Not right now. State of Israel was established in 48. But anyways, this conversation is above your fucking grade. It's not just moral. According to international law, it's illegal to do that. It was illegal. That's why they have a UN resolution that says right return.
In my opinion, international law doesn't exist for depending on the
Okay.
country.
Okay. Nothing in America. We don't have any laws. We don't believe in any laws, right?
No, laws can only be enforced on citizens. Like the idea of, I think that there's like international standards, but laws only exist when there's an enforcement mechanism. So, like, look at what the United States is doing in Venezuela.
You
Technically,
keep
he
bringing
broke
up
international law.
you
Is anything
yeah
going to
yeah.
happen?
You
No,
keep
because the only way to enforce laws is if there's an enforcement mechanism, and the enforcement mechanism has to have more
you
power than the person who's breaking the
do
law.
you're
So
doing what
international
aboutism.
law is a guideline, I guess. But
If some
the only people who it gets enforced upon, it seems to
NPC
be America's enemies,
and
are the only
I'm in Los
people
Angeles.
who.
If somebody was to pull up on my fucking property, do you know what will happen to them in
Yeah, but that's
America?
not
Do you know?
international law. That's
Oh,
domestic. That's
hold
domestic
on.
law.
That's what they had the right to resist. You agree?
Yes, but the law of California is different
Uh-huh.
than saying that China did something illegal. If China does
Mm-hmm.
something illegal, who's going to punish them? Not even the United States can
Okay.
punish
Okay.
China.
Did the Palestinians have the right to resist 1947, 48?
The Palestinians have the right to do whatever which is in their power. You're trying to have a
No, no.
moral argument, and it's retarded. The
Okay.
Palestinians, if the Palestinians won the war, I don't care. If the Jews win the war, I don't care. The person with the most power is going to win the war.
So
And the
it's
reason why the Palestinians got help is because their friends had enough power to help them, but not enough power to win the war. They lost.
because they were not trained. You had the Zionist terrorist criminals. They were trained by these different
Okay.
wars by the British. British even gave them weapons and did a lot of shit for these people. And guess what? British decided not to give them a Jewish state after the White Papers were established in 1939. and they wanted a state by force. They even fucking approached a Nazi. You had the Zionist Jewish militia approaching a fucking Nazi in 1940 to 41, a Lehi Jewish militia gang, to get help to get rid of the British mandate. And Nazi said, no, we're not going to help you. So what they did, they started doing terrorist attacks on the British mandate. And they established, they came up with this UN resolution, 1947. They even sent letter bombs to the U.S. President, Harry S. Truman. The letter bombs were received by him. The 1 million postcards and letters were received. And there was a lot of pressure coming in from local in America and all over the world. And that's why he was part of the UN Partition Plan, 1947. And what was offered on the deal was the plan was offered. Jews were offered a bigger piece of a pie, and they were in minority. Arabs were offered a smaller piece of a pie, and they were in majority. And guess what? Arabs denied it. After they denied it, you had Jewish militias ethnically cleansing villages. I put the link in the chat from the UN. You can check it out, and it's very disturbing. And it turned into a full-blown war in 1948. It started in 47. There was no fucking war, but it turned into a full-blown war in 1948. But anyways, this history, the Palestinian history, I would suggest it's above your pay grade. You're not going to understand this shit, whether you take it morally, ethnically, or ethically, or in any shape or form. Like, even if logically speaking, somebody fucking comes onto your property, you have the right to resist. You fucking shoot them in the fucking head.
Of course. And then you're in conflict where you're just justified. So I don't have any problem with that idea. The only thing that I'm saying is that, great, you guys won the moral war. It's your land. Let's assume everything. It's your land. The Israelis are Western imperial, white imperials, and they don't deserve to be there, and they're doing too much. Okay. Now what?
Do they have a right to exist?
Okay, now what?
No, so they don't have the right to exist anymore.
Okay, so how are we going to make Israel not exist?
I'm asking you, does Israel have a right to exist by ethnically cleansing Palestinians? The question again is a yes or no. Is it a yes or no question?
Does Israel have the right to exist by ethnically cleansing Palestinians?
Yes.
I already answered that question.
You didn't answer shit. All you did was you just bullshitted.
I said from a moral framework, they don't.
Not just from moral. Even from, like, logically speaking, somebody comes in, colonizes your space, you have the fucking right to resist. You're going to resist. That's a regular thing. Anybody, even without religion,
having the right
anybody can
to
understand
resist is different. Now you're talking about resistance. You're asking me if Israel has the right to commit ethnic cleansing.
If somebody comes on my property, what am I going to do?
No one has the right. No one has the right to commit ethnic cleansing. Ethnic cleansing isn't something that you're granted a right to do. It's just something that happens. So I'm saying, so now that we've proven that Israel doesn't have the right to ethnically cleanse the Palestinians, now that we've proven that Israel
doesn't have right to exist,
doesn't have the right to take their land, what happens now?
Does it have a right to exist?
Does Israel have a right to exist?
Yes.
It doesn't matter what I say.
No, it does matter, because I want to see where you're gonna go.
If I agree with you, I don't even disagree with you, but like all this emotional shit. If what does my biggest thing I'm trying to get to you is what's gonna happen if I tell you what you want to hear? How many Palestinian children are going to be saved?
It doesn't matter. I want to see what
exactly. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
So now that we've proven that Israel is bad and the Palestinians are good, how do we stop it from happening? Tell me how we stop it.
You were booty clapping for Black Rabbi, and you support Israel. Hold on. You support Israel.
I keep asking you a question. You keep giving me questions. I answer them. You tell me that the answer's not good enough. I'm asking you a question. My question to you is: now that we've all come to the realization that Israel is bad and Palestine is good, how do we stop Israel? How do we stop it? Go.
I wasn't talking about solving.
No, that's what I'm talking about. I answered 3 of your questions. You asked me 3 times.
You didn't even answer the question.
No, you didn't even answer my question. I answered your question several times.
You did not answer the question.
Several times, don't lie.
I said,
my question to you was, how do we solve it?
Does Israel have a right to exist by ethnically cleansing Palestinians? You never answered the question.
No, they don't.
Okay,
is that an answer? Is no an answer?
Yeah, no one's answer. That's the true answer. Anybody in their right fucking mind would say no.
Okay, and this is why I told you that the correct answer was going to be when you first asked it in the pointed way that you're asking.
You never answered the question. I asked you yes or no question. It wasn't
okay, so I answered the question.
Okay.
Did I answer the question, yes or no?
Yeah, you did.
So
Finally,
can I
after
ask
half
you
an
a
hour,
question now? Would it be
killing my
fair
brain
if I
cells.
ask you a question now?
Okay, go on.
My question is, okay, now that we've come to the conclusion that Israel is bad and Palestine is good, how do we save the innocent Palestinians?
Israel would have to remove the occupation. America would need to probably do some sort of sanctions. The ICJ case needs to get resolved as soon as possible. The genocide, the countries once the ICJ decides it's a genocide, some of the countries will do a full, they will implement full some sort of sanctions where it will affect Israeli economy directly, and that's where we're at right now. And people are keep protesting. They keep on speaking up. Do not, shut up about it. Just keep on speaking up on this issue, not just here, even in Sudan, the genocide that's going on in Sudan. That's very problematic. And thanks to UAE, and we have that Somaliland issue as well. And in Congo, a whole bunch of other places, you got a whole bunch of massacres, even in Nigeria. Um, so what we have to do is we have to keep on speaking up on it, and the only way we can do it is we got to keep speaking up against Israel. Because if you shut down your voice and you keep supporting the Zionists, what that does it adds fuel to the fire. Because the Zionists are at this moment they're fucking full of fire. All they're doing is fucking killing babies, killing women, killing everybody they come across. They're sniping children. So how do we stop that? We can only stop it if we somehow force American government to stop that. So we need some sort of movement in America to be able to do that. And there are a lot of movements in America.
Americans are only virtue signaling, and even if they're not going to stop. So they're not going to stop unless there's a military power that's strong enough to stop them. So that's just reality. And I'm Nigerian, so the same thing in my country. The way that they're dealing with the people who are killing innocent people is that they're killing the people who are killing innocent people. But if the Israelis are killing innocent people and there's nobody stronger than them to kill them, then it's not going to stop. So it's unfortunate. Like my people are being persecuted, and to be honest, we had to leave. We had to leave. If we stayed, I would not have even been born. If we didn't surrender during the Biafra War, I would not have even been born. Why? The reason why I respect Palestinians is because they're ready to fight and die for what they believe in. And I'm not going to disrespect them by looking at them as victims because they're choosing to die for what they believe in. They want to stay on that land, whether it's justified or unjustified. They want to stay there. And there's a superior force that's killing them and wants them to leave. If they stay, they're not going to exist anymore. That's just what it is. And it's so fucking unfortunate, but that's just the way that the world is.
I don't care what
America's
happens.
not going to stop. Israel's not going to stop by asking them nicely. Someone's going to have to come and interfere, and no one's going to interfere. So the Palestinians have a choice. It's either fight for what you believe in and die, or leave.
No, or they could just join in normal Israeli society
Well,
like the
Israel would never
other
look at that.
Palestinians.
No, I think that's the dumbest
No,
thing you've
no,
ever said.
no. There's
No,
two
what are you
million
talking?
Palestinians who live. There's
Black
2 million
Rabbi,
Palestinians
those
who
are
have
those are Arab
citizenship.
Israelis. Black Rabbi, demographics.
No,
Amir,
that would never
you're not
happen
even
because
honest.
Israel doesn't want to fuck up its demographics. So
Yep.
they would never
No,
allow
that's not the
a
issue.
large
That's not
chunk
the
of
issue.
Palestinians to immigrate in any
No,
substantial way.
they don't have a problem with that.
Okay,
I
Black Rabbi,
disagree.
you're famous inside of Israel, and you're this and that. Go up to the Iran.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. If you say and let the Palestinians integrate or move in with Black Rabbi, listen. Since you're famous and you're this and you're that in Israel, yeah, why not go to the Knesset or go speak up with the government and ask them to allow the Palestinians to move in and live with the Israelis?
They can. They're violent in the West
You
Bank and
just you
Gaza.
just made the suggestion, right?
The
Like you
Israelis
said, they
don't
should.
want to have a one
Everyone
state,
in
Black
Israel would
Rabbi.
love
Everybody
to have
knows
the
that.
people in Gaza. Now
No,
all
no,
bets are off. No,
no,
but
no,
now
no,
all
no,
bets.
no,
Now
no,
they have
no.
to leave.
But
Now they
it's
have to
funny.
leave.
It's
It's
funny
always
how
been
you
they have
make
to
it's
leave.
funny how
Now
you
they
make a
have to leave.
suggestion. Listen, it's funny how you make a suggestion, and literally after you make this, so-called, I would say, peaceful suggestion. So which one is? So what do the Palestinians do, Mr. Black Rabbit?
Now the people in Gaza have to leave.
I'm just
That's it.
entertaining. I'm just entertaining what you're saying, bro. Like
You're
I
never gonna
keep
rebuild
repeating myself
Gaza
for you,
until those people
buddy.
leave.
It's
Until those
either
people
us
leave,
or
nothing's
us
gonna be
on that
rebuilt.
land, Black Rabbit. It's either us or us on that land, my man. Don't get fooled or distracted with all these,
Whatever, man.
political talks,
Whatever.
man.
Whatever. Whatever.
Yeah, but
Whatever.
I'm just
Whatever.
entertaining what you're saying right now. You said they should come live with the Israelis. Then go offer or make this suggestion in front of your government. Let's see how that goes.
No, it's not. All bets are
You
off after October
you
7th.
can't, because if you make this, if you even propose it, they will kick you out of
Mm.
that land.
All right, cool. The point is, all bets are
The
off after
point
October
is
7th.
that you
Now,
guys are the ones
now they have to
who are
go.
non. The point
They're
is
either
you
gonna
are the
move.
ones
They're either gonna move
who are
peacefully
you
or
are
they're gonna
no,
die.
we're not moving, man. Stop lying to yourself with this
Okay.
nonsense.
You're gonna go to
Stop lying to
Somaliland.
yourself, man. You know it's not gonna happen. You
People have
know
already
that.
left. I mean, people have already
Man,
left.
you know it's not going to happen. You know it's not going to happen.
It is.
You
It
know
is.
that.
Already people.
No,
Palestinians
stop
have already
lying to
left.
yourself, man. Okay,
They
some did.
haven't.
How many? How many?
I don't know. I don't know what the number is.
What's
At
the
least a few
population
hundred.
in Gaza?
Few hundred. Few hundred.
Okay, okay, a few hundred from 2.5 million. What is that?
I don't think it's 2.5. I think it's 2 million.
Okay, 2.2 million. Okay, a few hundred from 2 million. What is that? Nothing.
No, but it shows people are willing to leave.
Okay, a few hundreds from 2 million is showing you that people want to leave. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. How
After
many
this
left
next,
since
after the,
October 7th? How many Jew left Israel?
put it this way: the reason why Egypt put a
Yeah.
blockade.
Put it this way. Yeah. Put it this way. You fucking
No, no,
idiot.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying the
Okay.
only reason why
Answer.
they're
How many
there.
Jews? How
Look,
many
I'm gonna,
Jews
bro.
left
If you would
Israel?
shut up and listen,
No,
you
you're
could
gonna
hear.
answer me first before you go on
No,
your
no, you're gonna
nonsense stuff.
listen to the point.
So, how many
Is
Jews
Egypt,
left Israel since
Egypt has
October
put
7th?
an entire military installation on
But,
that border so the
but, but, but,
Palestinians cannot
but,
enter Egypt.
Black
That's it.
Rabbit,
That's the only reason
Black
why they're
Rabbit.
there. They
Listen,
would have ran for
Black
their
Rabbit.
lives if they
Listen,
had the opportunity.
listen, dude,
You
dude,
live in
dude.
a
Now
fantasy.
you
You
said
live in a
now you
fantasy.
said some people.
You
Listen,
live in
the
your
difference between
Canadian
me and you.
fantasy. Your
Listen,
Canadian
I'll
fantasy.
admit, I'll say if what you're saying is true, I'll say it's true. Now you said a few hundred Gazans from Gaza left, and I agreed. I
Yeah.
said yes, some of them did leave. A few hundreds from 2 million, they're nothing. Now, can you tell us how many Jewish person left Israel since October 7th?
They didn't leave. They didn't leave. They just wanted. They just didn't want to be here when the war was happening.
They just went on a vacation and came back. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much.
So that does this show you that people in Israel are afraid and they would be
No, they're not
willing to move
afraid. They're privileged.
their privilege?
Yeah, they just pick up, get on a plane, go to Greece, go to Cyprus, go to America,
Yeah,
go to
yeah,
Europe.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
nice.
yeah, yeah.
Go to
Yeah.
Thailand. It's much cheaper. A lot
Man,
of people went. They hang out in
shut your
Thailand.
mouth, shut your mouth, you fucking
They're gonna,
idiot. Shut
bro.
the fuck.
They're gonna bomb, bro. They're gonna bomb the shit out of Gaza very soon.
They won't do shit, but they won't do shit. Bomb
And
it.
all
You'll
in.
still not get bomb it. You'll still not get rid of the
Listen to
Palestinians. You
them. They
can
don't
bomb
even
it.
care about human life.
You
You don't care
won't. You
about human
won't. You
life.
won't.
You
You
don't
won't.
care about human life.
So what you're doing right
You
now,
don't
people
care
like
about.
you,
You
Black
don't care
Rabbit,
about human
well, people.
life.
I
You
mean,
don't
you
care
can keep
about.
saying this. You can keep saying this. You can
You
keep saying it.
don't.
It's
You
not
want to
gonna
see your
change.
children
Yeah, yeah.
sacrificed. You
But
want to kill as
but
many of your children as
listen,
possible so you guys can have
you
political power. You're
what
sacrificing
your
your
action.
population for political
It's okay.
power.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
what you guys
What
do.
about
You're sacrificing
the West Bank? Why are you doing what you did to Gaza and the West Bank?
because there's terrorists in the West Bank too.
Who are the terrorists in the West Bank?
It's Hamas in the West Bank.
Okay, can you name one that you arrested that is linked to Hamas in the West Bank?
I don't have police reports, but there's a lot.
You don't have police reports, yeah?
They're moving them out, bro.
So
Like you could just
what's gonna happen?
you could
What's gonna happen when the people in the West Bank do another October 7th? Are you gonna come here, bitch, and
we're gonna
cry
bomb the shit out of we're
victim?
gonna bomb the shit out of them too.
Then what are you gonna do when the Arabs inside of Israel do the same thing?
We'll kill them.
Then what are you gonna do when the Zionists inside of Israel do the same thing to their own people?
Bro, come on.
Then what's gonna happen? No more Israel, you fucking idiot. You fucking idiot. What a scumbag
Cool,
you are.
cool. They're gonna bomb the shit out of Gaza very soon.
Like Rabbi. You have a problem with resisting, right? They shouldn't resist. They should just bend over and get fucked and raped in the ass, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. If
So
they want to live,
they should just bend over and get raped and
if
fucked
you
in
want
the
to live,
ass.
if you want to live,
Hmm.
you
So how
submit
many
yourself to
times? Okay,
power.
let me ask you this: how many times it's okay according to your morality to get fucked and
Mm.
raped in the ass? One time,
Nobody's being
two
raped.
times,
You're
why
just
you
making up a
three,
whole stupid point.
three
why you ask
times.
these questions, bro?
Bro, this is, I'm
Because
trying to
it's
explore
stupid.
his
It's
mind.
stupid.
I
It's
don't know.
stupid. It's stupid.
I
It's
try
stupid.
That's
to
not a
get
real
into your
question,
head.
man.
That is a real question. That's what he believes
There's
in.
no Palestine. Nothing
He
about your
believes
argument is
every
real.
single soul in Gaza, including trees, are terrorists. I'll put the link in the chat. That's what he believes in.
Well, have you seen the trees over there?
Ask him. They burned down over 1 million olive trees in Gaza, right? With this so-called war, this genocide that they're doing. Ah, my question
Black
to you again,
Rabbit,
Black Rabbi:
Black.
how many times? How many times should they bend over and get raped in the ass? One time, two times, or five times? What do you think? What do you think maximum? 5 times?
Nobody. I mean,
Just give me a number. 5 times? Ten
you
times?
can't even. You can't even have a real conversation.
No, no, I'm asking you. 5 times, 10 times, 20
You
times, 30
can't
times,
have a real
40 times, 50
conversation.
times. But do you know in the West
Put it
Bank,
these people call themselves.
do you know that there's a family member to each and every family in the West Bank has been to Israeli dungeon and got tortured? Did you know about this?
Oh my God, who cares, man?
Bro,
Who
you
Disarm
do
cares?
yourself.
one thing. You
Disarm
man, you
yourself
can
and
be
live.
a bad. Listen, you
Disarm
can be a
yourself and
bad
live.
person in the West Bank, yeah, and do something wrong. They will go after your entire fucking
Too
lineage. They
bad.
will not
Too
leave you in
bad.
peace.
Too bad. Too bad.
We
Disarm
have John
yourself
Okay.
Kidover in the
and
room,
live.
I
Oh,
think. John Kidover, shut your fucking mouth. You did a campaign fraud, Black Rabbi. Can you believe it? This white dude, he's a Ashkenazi Jew, right? Zionist Ashkenazi Jew. He goes into every room, streams it on YouTube, and he's been investigated by the feds for campaign fraud. Such a mental retard. Like he has no fucking life. All he does, he's got 77 phones, and all he does is streams phones, stream rooms directly onto YouTube. Such a fucking retard.
Which
The point
account
is
is
the
this?
thing.
did he send you
Disarm
the link,
dis
Amir? Did he send you the
Oh, the
link?
Anon. Yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
Anon.
disarm, disarm, and save lives, or resist and die.
Black
That's it.
Rabbi, shut the fuck up. Shut the
Not
fuck
Man,
not
up.
you're
today though.
even
Not
man,
today.
you're actually irrelevant to this whole thing, bro. But I don't even know what the
Literally.
fuck you're talking, man.
He's just a
Man,
freeloader,
even
man, living on a
yesterday,
stolen land.
yeah, like
Or
literally,
you
a
could just
BB came
die
in
from
yesterday,
AIDS, like
fucking
the
cussed
black
him out and
rabbis
left. They
gonna
don't
do.
even believe in you as a Jew, you fucking idiot.
You're gonna die from AIDS,
I,
black
I was
rabbi,
watching a video of like the
from all
IDF
that bending
soldiers
over.
and all the men lined up like doing a salute. They all look like they have an extra chromosome. It's horrible. It's horrible. Horrible people. You
When
look
was the last time
horrible.
you got checked for STD, black rabbi?
Oh,
All that bending over you keep doing.
Hey, Palestine, Palestine. They're gonna
You gonna
bomb
end
the
up
shit out of Gaza.
you
They're
gonna
gonna
die from
bomb the shit
HIV,
out of
bro.
Gaza.
I
They're gonna
think
bomb the shit out
this
of
might be your
Gaza.
last speech, bro.
We're hours away
This
from it.
might be your
They're gonna
last speech.
bomb the shit out of Gaza.
Hours away, you're hours away from Iran, Black Rabbit.
yeah, man. Go take your AIDS medicine, bro.
They're gonna bomb the shit out of
Man,
Gaza,
your
and these
little
fools
pillow
don't care
biter.
about. People are
And when
waking
you
up
go after
on
Iran,
Tik
biter.
they're gonna do what they
on
Go
did
bite
in
the
the
TikTok.
12th
pillow.
day.
On TikTok, they're
Go
waking
bite the
up.
pillow. Let the Ashkenazi master put his little haram in you.
You
Bend
pillow
over.
princess.
Yeah, go bend the little pillow biter, Mr. AIDS man.
And the thing about it, you guys are so sick. You
Yeah,
guys
you
don't even
got
care about
AIDS,
your
bro.
children.
Yeah,
This is how sick
you
you
can't
guys
even
are.
have kids.
You
This
guys
is
are
how
distorted.
brainwashed you are, Black
This is
Rabbit.
how
This is how
distorted. No, this is how
brainwashed you are.
Well,
distorted you're
you can't
thinking it.
even have
You
kids. You
guys
can't
don't
even have
even
kids.
care
You
about
can't even have
children.
kids. You can't even have kids.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Mr. Chlamydia
It,
guy.
Anyways, the
it's
point.
funny that you and killed those children and then you blame us for your guys'
Yeah,
I know,
yeah.
actions.
right?
You want
It's
them to
funny.
die. You want
It's
them to die.
What do you
insane.
mean?
It's
Yeah,
That's your
yeah. What do you
absolutely
mean?
political
Yeah,
leverage.
yeah,
insane.
yeah.
That's
It's
your
horrible.
political
You're a
leverage.
horrible person.
That's your
You're a
political
horrible person.
leverage.
You're a horrible
That's how
person.
you justify it. That's
You're
your
a
political
horrible,
leverage.
horrible
We
person.
Yeah,
justify
okay. I don't care. I don't care.
when did we
I don't
use
care.
children to justify anything? When?
That's what you're doing. You go around and say, "Hey, you're
Who
baby
uses
killers. It's a
children to
genocide."
justify? No, you kill
That's
them.
it.
You
You
kill them,
need your children to die. That's why Hamas has never
buddy.
built
No.
No, we
one
don't. No,
tunnel.
no one
Hamas
needs
has
their
never built
children to
one
die.
tunnel
You
for
Yeah,
fucking
children.
that's
idiot.
One
retarded.
tunnel
You,
for
That's
women and
see,
children.
unlogical. That doesn't
Never.
even make any
this
fucking
is
sense.
why
What the
this
fuck?
is why God gave
Shut
you
up,
no
you white
children,
trash.
and you're 40 years
Yeah,
old.
what?
This is why God is not blessing you with
Oh, I'm
children.
not even white. But you're a fucking.
I have a
You know
kid
what
on
you
the way,
are?
by the way.
You know what you
No, you
are? You
don't.
know
What?
what
You
you are?
actually don't. You can sit here and lie
Yeah,
about it,
actually
but
I
you
do.
actually don't
Actually I
have.
do.
No, you
It's like
don't.
we're
You
gonna
Let's
don't.
bomb
You
the
go.
shit
don't.
out of Gaza. I
You
have a kid
don't.
on the
You
way.
idiot. You don't have
You
children's
don't
coming.
have
You don't have
Who
a
kids.
baby
cares?
You
coming
Who
on
don't
the
have
cares
way.
what you
kids. You
think,
can't
bro?
have
You little
kids.
piece of shit
You
Palestinian,
can't
bro.
have
Yeah,
kids. You can't
AIDS
have
people,
kids.
with AIDS, they don't really,
You're
they don't really
infertile.
let you have kids, bro.
You're
Hey,
That's
infertile.
AIDS.
listen, Black Rabbit. You have one coming on
Mm.
the way. We have 15,
Black
20 coming
rabbit.
on the way.
Good. We got a missile for every one of them.
You got a
Black
missile
rabbit.
up your ass,
Crazy
bro. That's
word.
what you got. You got a
Yeah.
Ashkenazi missile up your ass.
Oh, yay. We ran him off. Woohoo. Wait, let me give us a round of applause. Good job. Good job, Palestine. Good job, Abu Abu.
Good job, guys. The children are saved now. The rabbi's
MPC,
going away.
what's your MPC? What's your problem? Why do you support Israel?
I don't support Israel.
You said earlier when you came into the room, that's what you said.
Oh, I was just trolling because I know you guys are sensitive about that shit. I don't support Israel, but I don't give a fuck. Like I just don't care.
So you're
I
like
think it's
neutral.
bad. I think it's ethnic cleansing, but I don't care. Not because it's not a bad thing, but because when I'm looking at I'm surprised that even top lefts brought up what's happening in Sudan. And what's happening in
Do,
Sudan, like 10,000 a day. Like the reason why I don't care is because there's just so much evil happening in the world right now.
do
And
you
when
care
when
about
I
any conflicts at all, or is it just
Why,
this
wait,
one
why
that
are, yeah,
doesn't
and
concern
why
you?
are you surprised that we would talk about Sudan? That's weird.
No, I'm surprised because most people, it's not about you guys, it's about most people don't know what's happening about Sudan because it's not televised as much. So I was surprised that he brought it up and he knew about the genocide that's happening in Sudan. So he actually has my respect for that because most people only care about what's on the news. So
Do you think if do you think that the reason why they bring up Palestine in the news and stuff is because of the Palestinians?
um,
No.
I think the reason why I learned the reason why they don't bring up Sudan, and the reason why they don't bring up Sudan is because Sudan
It's
doesn't have enough of anything for the West to give a fuck about. And then the people none of the people speak English. They're black and Muslim, so they can't really appeal to a Western audience. So, like, when you look at the Palestinians, some of the Palestinians are Christian, some of them are Muslim, but the Muslim community, they're not black. So the Muslim community identifies with them, so it's a lot
yeah.
easier to market a
I don't
tragedy
think.
when you can relate to the
Yeah.
person it's happening to. But it's hard to
So
relate to Sudanese
I'll
because
tell
there's
you
no
something.
visibility and the
The
Western
on-
countries don't give a fuck about.
the only reason why they bring it up, right? Because Palestinians get killed on a daily basis, right? And it's not because they care for the Palestinians or they can identify, with the Western world. They don't, it's just brown Muslims dying, right? It's because there's white Jews over there, you know. That's the ones who they identify with. If Israelis was in Sudan, they were talking about Sudan every day. So it's not the Palestinians of concern for the Palestinians that it's in the news. It's because
But
it's
more people are dying in Yemen. There's most definitely more people dying in Sudan. So when you
for
say
sure.
Palestinians are dying every day, and that's the reason why they
No,
care,
no, 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 no. No. That's not what I said. You misunderstood what I said.
my bad.
I said so. If the white Israelis were in Sudan and the conflict between the white Jews was with the black Muslims in Sudan, it'd be on the news.
Exactly.
It's not. Yeah. So it's the concern is not for the brown Muslims in Palestine or the whatever the Christians over there. It's because there's whites over there. The Ashkenazi white people. That's why the Western world cares because they identify with them. That's the only reason why it's being brought up on TV.
But look how emotional people get. Because to be honest, I see it half and half. I see just as much people supporting Israel as I see support Palestine. And when you have a conflict where no one supports either side, like in Sudan, then no one cares. If you have a conflict where someone at least supports one side, then you have a few people who care. But that's all I want to say.
You made a claim about there's less black Muslims versus the white Muslims. Where did you
No, I
get
said
that
Arab.
from?
I didn't say
Yeah,
white. I didn't say
yeah.
white
Do you
Muslims.
know that the Sudanese, they're actually in North Sudan, they're Arab Sudanese, by the way. They're Arabs, by the way, and they're black.
I looked at them. They're black. They might be
Yeah,
mixed. They might be a mix, but
they're Arab, by the way, and they're black.
they're slightly Arabized,
Yeah, but
but
how
they're
did
still
you make
black
the
to me. I'm
claim?
looking at
How did
them.
you make the claim that its majority is white Muslims? Is
But I didn't
Southeast
say I
Asia?
didn't say white Muslims. I know for a fact I didn't say that. I know for a fact I didn't say white Muslims.
Okay, what was your point about when you
My
were
point is what I
addressing the
said.
Sudanese?
My point is that when you it's a lot easier for the Muslim world to identify with the Gazans than to identify with the Sudanese when it's
That's not
Muslim
true.
on Muslim
That's not
violence.
true.
No,
Saudi
that's not true.
Arabia is Saudi Arabia is funding the Sudanese military. By the way, UAE is funding the RSF. That's freaking genocide. We talked about it. One of my co-mod is freaking, she's from South Sudan, and I even texted her. I'm like, "What happened? She disappeared on this app. I hope her family is doing good." So in this room, I talk about all the genocides, all the massacres that are happening all over the world.
Now
But the problem,
I give you that respect. You're the first person I've ever seen do that. So I give you that respect. So I can't even cap.
yeah, the thing is, NPC. When I heard about Nigeria, I know the situation over there is getting worse. I wanted to ask you this question: do you support Trump attacking Nigeria? Like,
Yeah.
because he made a claim about that Christians are getting attacked, but there's no tribal war over there. I mean, we have
The thing with
investigations that were done.
the thing the thing with Nigeria is that what I'm seeing happening is people are downplaying what's happening because they don't like Trump. And that's fucking stupid as fuck. What I mean, even Obama talked about it, but Obama didn't do anything. The only thing that is his wife said, "Bring back our girls," and then everybody forgot about it. But bring back our girls. The situation that caused that happens like monthly in Nigeria. That has happened like over 20 times. Like that last year that has happened like 10 times. Like 300 people getting kidnapped. Like children getting kidnapped from schools. Like that happens all the time. So what's happening in Nigeria is to say it's a Christian genocide
It's not a
is
genocide.
reductive. It's not incorrect to say it's a Christian genocide. I don't like the word genocide just because genocide is like a buzzword, but there's Christian persecution going on in the country. Now, to be fair, it's not only Christian persecution. You get persecuted if you're in certain areas for not agreeing with radical Islam or Sharia law. So that means that moderate Muslims and Christians are equally at risk. So anyone who doesn't like live up to a certain type of code and in certain areas of Nigeria is at risk. So it's an issue. It's definitely an issue, and
It's
it's been an
happening
issue
from
that's
both
been
sides.
happening for a few decades.
But you see how the Western world portrays it as, oh, Islam is a problem. It's happening to the Muslims and Christians. The ISIS members, right? They call them Islamists, right? But do you know how many Muslims have killed these disgusting ISIS wild creatures? And there's about 30 to 40 scholars came out of Canada. They called them disbelievers and dogs of the hell and whatever. Because from our Muslim side, we have scholars and whatnot. They condemn it even at our mosque. Do you know that if we come across anybody that extreme wild creature as somebody that comes off as a suicide bomber or whatever, and we hear some stupid shit, we call the cops. See what I'm saying? We don't tolerate that stupid shit. But the problem is the way the Western world portrays the Muslim world it's crazy. And Trump, he just did it. I think he wants to steal some resources, just like they've been doing in the past, even in Sudan. I mean, look at what's happening to the resources. Gold, that's what UAE wants. That's crazy. Such a sticky situation. It's very disturbing. I don't know this movie.
Yeah, I don't understand. Just because um I think that there is a problem with Islam. Not a problem in what people believe, but a cultural issue, because I think that there is a cultural issue with Islam. And I think that I think that if Islam doesn't, if the moderate Muslims can't keep the most radical people at bay, this is going to continue to happen. Because every single time that this happens, we can't just go back to not all, not all, not all, because it's never all for anything. Only a few
but
Germans were Nazis. Most Germans weren't Nazis. Whenever it comes to violence, it's always the minority doing it.
but who's supporting these Muslim terrorist radicals?
Other Muslims.
No, no, no. Hold on.
Mm.
No, who's funding them?
Other Muslims. What are you going to say?
No.
Israel? Not in
Yeah, and a lot,
Nigeria.
and a lot of
Nigeria isn't
in a
supporting
lot of
Boko Haram.
cases.
It's Muslim governments that are supporting Boko
Uh,
Haram.
and who would listen? The Muslims, the Muslim governments that are supporting them, like the Emirates, who do they work with?
Iran also supports. It's both.
So
Muslim
hold on.
governments,
So
who
if you
have.
look at ISIS, right? Who supported ISIS? If you look at most of these historically, right? Most of these Muslim terrorists, they usually kill other Muslims, right? That's what they usually like. Like they never go against Israel, right? And the UAE and Israel are in cahoots with each other. So, you can't expect the moderate Muslims to stop these terrorists. Maybe the people funding them should stop. We're against the UAE funding them. Amir, for example, he speaks about it all the time. I'm not for the UAE doing what they're doing in Sudan and stuff like that, or funding these terrorists all over the place, right? But we're not for Israel doing it either. So maybe we should stop sending the money or supporting the governments that are funding these terrorists and blame the governments that are putting the guns in their hands and creating these, Al Qaeda's and whatever, right? America worked with the Taliban, created the Taliban and gave them money and we're buddy buddy with them, right? You went on mute, NPC. Wanted to. We
No,
kind of a
you
question.
didn't say anything that I disagree with, man. So
Yeah, okay, well, I just wanted so what I disagreed with what you said that Islam or Muslims have a cultural problem with us moderate Muslims or normal everyday Muslims. It's not us that's creating these things. We suffer as much as we don't want these terrorists to take over our countries, the Al Qaeda's and the ISIS. And, we don't want them to represent our religion or whatever, but we're not the ones in charge. We're not the ones funding them and using them to take over countries and create division. And you know what I mean?
yeah,
NPC, by the way, I'm about to put a link in the chat. This is a testimony from Chief of Mossad. He was on Mahdi Hassan show. He said we have given weapons to the ISIS and Al Qaeda and whatnot. During the Syrian civil war, they provided medical services. Israel provided medical services to the ISIS. Back in 2016, there's an article from Times of Israel that talks about ISIS shooting a rocket into Golan Heights, which is occupied by Israel, and then ISIS sending apology to Israel. ISIS has never sent out apology to any Muslim nations for killing Muslims. You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
And the and relate to the Nigeria situation, you do know how the Boko Haram operates, right? NPAC? I'm sure you know, but you're from there, so you know, right?
No.
Okay, so it does robberies, kidnappings. Do you know that all of this goes against Islam? Did you know this? And then look, I'll give you another example. In Palestine, I know you're probably coming from that, oh, Islam might be the problem, culture, whatever. Do you know the first suicide bombing attack? Do you know who did it in Palestine?
A Jew?
Christian. Christian attacked the Israelis using a suicide bomber. It was a PFLP. They did the majority of the suicide bombing attacks, and they were Christian. You can look him up. His name is George Habash. He was based out of Syria, and he was running this movement, PFLP. And this was a Palestinian liberation movement. You see what I'm saying? And they were Christians, hardcore Christians, and they're the one that did the resistance attacks and whatnot. And if you want an example of the first suicide attack, there's actually I actually looked it up a couple of days ago. This is from the ancient. I'll provide it to you. Hold on, I have it right here. I saved it because I do sometimes play with AI to see what I can come up with. So the look, I'll put it in the chat for you so everybody can read it. Oh shit, I can't. Okay, I'll read it out to the people. So this is ancient and Jewish early examples of Jewish Sicarii, zealots. First century CE conducted suicidal knife attacks on Romans in crowds, reciting prayers before death. In 1831, Dutch officer Jan van Speyk ignited gunpowder on his ship during the Belgian Revolution, killing himself and others rather than surrender. You see what I'm saying? And even on the 7th of October, they did. They've done the Hannibal Directive, right? They invoked the Hannibal Directive. So Hannibal Directive is kill your people and kill the enemy, and that was applied. You can, if you want a testimony from Yov Galan, I can give you that as well. So there's a lot of these things that play a role, and I'll see what else I can find on Boko Haram and whatever, and I'll definitely share it with you.
Thanks, man.
Because Israel and these other nations, they play a large role and relate to African countries. Who's this guy? His name is Justin Lunatic. Wow. And oh, I forgot to tell you one more thing. So I don't know if you heard about they were having famine issue, right, in Gaza. You heard about it, right?
Oh, I heard about what?
Famine. They were going through
Which
famine
one?
in Gaza.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So do you know what Israel did? So not only they flattened Gaza, they released under Hamas prison. The Hamas had these guys locked up, the Abu Shabab and clan members. It's Abu Shabab clan. Uh, I was thinking from almost a year and a half, how is IDF allowing? Because there's multiple articles out there from Haaretz and whatever. IDF was allowing a group of people to steal the aid under the supervision of IDF. Suddenly, about 2 or 3 months ago, you have their official, Avigdor Lieberman, Israeli Knesset. He comes out and he said, I didn't know that we are transferring weapons to Abu Shabab clan, which is identified with ISIS. So, I mean, and this Abu Shabab clan, they've been stealing the aid from Palestinians and selling it in black market for 5 times the cost, and they're identified with ISIS. Now, who do we blame for this? You see what I'm saying? Yeah, and what's happening in Nigeria, they're linked with ISIS as well, right? Was it Al Shabaab, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're linked with ISIS as well. So the ISIS is all over the place, and they have connections. So um, and this is the thing I don't get. You have Western world funding, Taliban and ISIS and Al Qaeda and this and that, and then they put the blame on Muslims. That this Islam is a problem, motherfucker. You're the one that funded these factions.
I
If they
don't.
if this if they stop funding, then you won't have these problems. Let's see. So Boko Haram, Founded 2002 by Muhammad Yusuf, pledged to ISIS. 2015 as West Africa province, funded by kidnappings, robberies, taxes, and smuggling. And all of this shit, it goes against the religion, by the way. I don't even know why, anybody would call them Muslims. These are just some terrorist mofos. Hey, welcome,
So
lunatic.
one example I like to use is, do you know, have you ever heard any stereotypes about Catholic priests?
Yes. Thank you for having me on the stage. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I could hear you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, what
So what's the
stereotypes?
stereotype you heard?
I don't know. They always bring up this part. I usually shut them down because I don't like people that mocking anybody's religion in this room. They bring up that they're into little boys and whatever.
Well, I'm Catholic, and in the white Catholic Church, there is that issue. And I can always say, hey, but pedophilia is against everything we believe in
Mhm.
as a response. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to, are the people who are waving my flag doing the thing? And if they're doing the thing, then I can say that they're not following the rules all I want, but they're still doing the thing.
Right, right.
I think a
So
lot
like
of
when I
it.
say like there's a problem with Islam, I don't even really mean like, because I don't even really mean like the religion in and of itself. I mean like how the religion is interpreted by some people, and how like there 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 are these theocracies. Like I think the biggest problem with Islam is Sharia. That's the Sharia, because when you put governmental power behind a
Hmm.
religion, it just leads to like a lot of shit. And I think the
Do
biggest problem is
you know what
Sharia.
Sharia means, NPC?
No,
Divine's law.
yeah, I think that's an issue.
No, no, it's not an
Wait,
issue.
wait,
It's an
you
issue.
actually didn't know what Sharia is?
Yeah, Sharia means divine's law, God's law. Look, I'll give you example. I live in Los
No, I
Angeles.
mean, before you give him an example, NPC, you actually didn't know what it means?
I'm not Muslim.
He's
Then how
Christian.
can you sit and say that the biggest problem with Islam is Sharia if you
No,
don't even know
like
what it means?
no, so he said that Sharia means God's law. My
No,
understand
but
what
before
when
that, you said the problem is Sharia.
yeah, but when
You
I
don't
describe,
understand what it means, and you just blamed it on Sharia. And the same thing you said about Islam. You said the problem is with Islam before you change your mind, and then this problem
I
is
didn't
with
change my
Sharia.
mind. I was just
Yes, you
clarifying.
did. Yes, you
I
did.
wasn't clearing. I
Yeah,
wasn't
but when you
changing my
say the
mind.
problem
It
is
was
with Islam, that's huge. That's not something normal to talk about. You're
But I was
attacking a
clarifying.
belief.
If you want to be mad about my unrefined opinion,
No,
then you can be mad about
No,
it.
okay,
But
you
no.
I'm
can
further
clarify. Just
refining
make
the.
sure what you're
Yeah, I was
saying.
clarifying. I was
Yeah.
clarifying. So like, I'm sorry that that made you feel a certain type of way. The only thing that I'm saying is that when most people hear Sharia,
Hmm.
they're thinking about mu- Muslim ideology being applied to a state. So when you
Hmm.
say God's law, when I say I don't know
Hmm.
what Sharia means, I mean like I don't know what it literally means in Islam.
Hmm.
I only understand what it means from how it's applied when governments are using it to enforce religious rules through a government structure.
Hmm.
I think enforcing those religious rules through a government structure is an issue.
Okay. So I'll give you one example. Okay. Just one example. I'm in California. I used to have a store. I ran it for about 10 to 12 years. Okay. I got robbed about 9 to 10 times at my store. Now, in America, when you rob a store, they give you what, 5, 10 years or something, right? Attempted robbery or whatever the fuck, they call it. Under Sharia, so the last robbery that happened at my store was a pretty big one. It was about $8 to $10,000 worth of shit that got stolen. They were gonna kill this, to kill this guy. He was only 22 years old, and they would beat him up really badly, and he even had to go get to the hospital, whatever. We saw all of it on the camera. And under Sharia, do you know that there's no jail time? What it is they ask the owner if they catch this, robber. They ask the owner, how do you, do you want his hand chopped off? Do you want to, forgive him? Do you want these payments, the money that he owes you, just pay him, he pays you back in monthly, or if you want to do it in installments or lump sum, however you decide, and you agree on the terms and the cops agree on it, and that's the term you're going to go based on. You see what I'm saying? So, and there's no jail time. And what it does, it saves states money. In America, we spend about $55 to $85,000 per year per prisoner. That's freaking wasting the tax dollar money on a prisoner. You see what I'm saying? And if let's say if somebody's hand was to get chopped off for doing this, it will set an example. Nobody will even have the guts to rob anybody. You see what I'm
So
saying?
so
I
so
lived
so
in
so
Saudi
when
Arabia, by the way.
so so no so so Sophia. So when I hear people say that moderate Muslims aren't as they're not extreme enough to commit any violence, but they
Mhm.
do agree with things that are extreme, what are they wrong?
I just told you. How is that extreme? Because he robbed your
Cutting
store.
having the ability to cut off a person's hand for stealing is
Not
extreme.
not me, not me. They have a
No,
system in
because
place.
Sharia, that's what Sharia, you're making a case
It's a
that's
divine's law.
defending Sharia
It's
law, and you're
divine's
No,
law.
no,
trying to
no.
make
So,
it.
so, 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 by
Listen,
the way,
listen,
NPC
having
punishment.
divine law and living it
Yeah.
in your life is different than having divine law being enforced by the state.
No, no.
And when
But
That's
I
that.
and you're
when
defending that,
punishment when it
right?
comes to
There's
Sharia
no
law,
state
NPC.
out there that
But
follows. There's no state out there that follows
bro,
proper Sharia.
no. But
You're
punishment
just
when it comes to
saying whatever.
Sharia law is just a small part of this law. It's not a big thing. And usually, even if you are to commit something, you need very, very strong and strict evidence
The
to,
punishment is
find
still too
guilty or.
much. It doesn't take that much evidence to
I mean,
prove that a person
It's
look,
up to
stole.
you,
me. It's up to
it's
me
a
to forgive him. I
preventative.
can
It's a
forgive
No,
him.
but that
preventative
Sharia,
measure.
you're defending Sharia law.
It's a
So what? That's
preventative
God's
measure.
Yeah,
law.
So when
but
you
the Sharia
hear,
law is the issue.
But
listen,
Sharia
yeah,
law
yeah,
gives me the
but
ability to forgive the person.
Because what happens with Sharia law is that some people are more lenient and some people are less lenient. So
no, no,
Boko Haram, they're practicing
Hmm.
Sharia as well,
Boko
but their
Haram
Sharia
is
is more
they're
extreme than
not
your
no, they're not
Sharia.
they're
practicing.
No,
No,
non-Muslim.
they
they're not
are.
They're
practicing. No,
They
no, no,
non-Muslim.
no,
are.
no. They are
They're
not.
Oh, they're not
non-Muslim.
Muslim now.
Yes.
They're not
Okay.
practicing Sharia. They're not.
I just told you
What?
kidnappings it goes against the law, against Islam. Robberies goes against Islam. Doing any kind of drug dealings goes against Islam. How are they Muslims?
Because
Provide me evidence.
as
Provide
we
me
proved with
evidence.
my
And
Christian
Islam. Now, provide
as we
me
proved
evidence
with
that
my Catholic
Islam
priest
allows
analogy.
kidnappings. Go on, go. Provide
Listen,
evidence.
as I proved with my Catholic priest analogy, just because
Hmm.
people are doing things that are against the faith while being in the faith doesn't mean that they're not whatever religion that they claim to be.
No, but
Okay.
That's
you
number
said
one.
that they're practicing. No, but you said they're
Boko Haram is
practicing
not my imam,
Sharia.
by the way. Yeah, Boko Haram is
But
not my
wait,
imam.
wait,
It
wait,
doesn't work
He
wait,
here.
wait,
explained
wait,
what.
wait. I mean, you're making very weak arguments, NPC. Like
Really?
you're making no sense. Yeah, no, you said that they practice Sharia law. Is that right?
Yes, they practice. I said they
So
practice their own version of Sharia. Just
okay,
like you can
yeah. So they're
just like you can justify. What's the difference between justifying cutting off a thief's hand because you caught them stealing as divine, the law of the universe, God's
Okay.
law,
Do
versus
you
Boko
it's
Haram
no, no,
saying
no.
we have
I
every
mean,
right to
do you
we have
understand? Do
every
you
right to
understand?
kill you
Hold on
because
a
you're not
second,
because you're wearing
Abu.
a
Hold
skirt.
on.
Wait, can you
NPC,
listen to the question?
There's
I
a
just want to
limit
hear
on
myself
the.
say the question and
Oh,
no one
hold on. There's a
interrupt me.
limit. There's a limit on there before. You see, this is the problem. You don't understand.
I do
There's
understand.
hold on. If somebody was to come to my store, steal bread, steal something to eat, do you know my Sharia says no. You don't touch that person, and he won't even get charged because he did it to feed his family. Okay? Go look into it. You should look into it. There's a lot of good things about the Sharia, whether you like it or not. And I can forgive the person if, let's say, if I, a lot of times in a lot of cases, store owners, they don't go for the chopping the hand. In my book, literally says you're a bigger person if you forgive the person. Did you know this?
here.
My
Let me
only
ask you this question.
no
NPC,
matter how
are are you from the U.S. NPC? Are you an American?
of course yeah I mean,
Are you allowed to carry a gun in house in the U.S.?
am I allowed to carry a gun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if a robber is to come and rob your house, would you shoot him with that gun?
Yeah.
Why?
because I don't because of my own safety. Like let's say I saw somebody breaking into my car. The reason why this
Yeah.
isn't an analogous situation is because I live in Texas. There's something called the castle doctrine.
Open
And
carry law.
the castle doctrine is about
No, it's
someone
okay. It's
coming into
okay.
your
Yeah.
home and then you have the right to kill them because you don't know what they're going to do because they're inside your house, like they're inside your safe space, so you can kill them. If I see somebody breaking into my car, if somebody at
Yeah.
work steals something from my desk, like if someone is breaking into a store, I don't have the right to kill them. I don't
Okay.
have the
And
right
now, if you're
to do any bodily harm to someone stealing from me, but I do have the
and
right of bodily harm if someone is breaking into my home while I'm inside of it.
but he's stealing something. He's not going
How
in
is
there
that
to harm you.
different?
It's different
He's
because you
stealing
don't know what
something.
the person is going to do because they're inside of your own home and you're
Yeah, you don't
there.
know what the
Okay.
person's
Okay.
gonna
Okay.
do if you're in
But
your
this is
store and someone comes in.
So if they would have
this
killed the
is not
kid
the
that was
point.
working at my
Just
store,
sorry, let me just
what?
just
Sure.
clarify this because he called my name. I'm not a Muslim, by the way, but I don't like it when people just say things about a whole religion and the whole like 2 billion people just because you heard it somewhere in the Western news.
I just think
But
you're triggered. I just
NPC
think you're triggered and you're not
NPC.
even really
Yes,
listening to what
I'm
He's
I'm
not
saying because
triggered.
triggered
the only the only thing that
because
I
of
said, the only thing
ignorant people
it's
like
not
you.
ignorance. I specified
Yes,
what I'm talking
yes.
about.
Amir was telling
I
you
specified what I was talking. I
about
said there's
stealing,
nothing
and
wrong with the Quran. I literally specified that this
Yeah.
isn't
Yeah.
about the Quran. This is about
We know.
Muslims.
We know. We know.
I
We
specified
know.
that I was critiquing Sharia and they still defended Sharia and now we're gonna defend it with
But
them.
yeah,
no,
but
no,
you
because
don't
we don't know.
Of
understand
So
what
course,
one
even though
Sharia
you're
second.
is
not
One
Muslim, we're
before
gonna
second.
defend it with
attacking
them
it.
because you
I
feel like
You
they're
have
I
to
still
dictators.
didn't
understand
make.
what Sharia is
I
before
didn't
Yeah,
attacking
make
it.
my
sure. They
point.
just described Sharia, and Sharia
NPC.
doesn't make any
NPC.
sense, and it
NPC.
leads to a lot of
So
bad things when
okay.
people
One
have their
second.
own
Yes. Yes.
interpretation. My whole entire point
Yes.
is that
Yes.
Sharia is all
You're
dependent
right.
on who is interpreting the rules. You can
No.
disagree
No.
with the
You're right. You're
interpretation
right.
all you want, but when the rules are misinterpreted, it leads to people being killed, and the people who are doing the killing are saying that this is God's divine law. The only
I mean,
difference
to have
between
to
that and the
NPC.
United States is that this is just a law because of morals. This is God's will and divine law, and He's giving me the right to do this.
NPC, they're
To up.
doing it in the name of religion, but which is not. They're not even fucking Muslims. That's what I've been trying to tell you. It needs to be. Look, to have that whole Sharia system, you need to have a whole state run by a Sharia law system.
No, you need a
Otherwise you
just
can't
leader.
have.
You need a just leader.
Yeah,
You
you
need a
need a
just
just
leader.
leader, and you need to have these Muslim that are actually know ins and outs of the Sharia, and they need to be and there's a lot of restrictions around it. You should look into it. Look, you're not getting the point. There's a limit to it. Again, I'm gonna give you the limit. When I lived in Saudi Arabia, over there, the limit when I lived over there, the limit was I think 1,000 riyals or 2,000 riyals. Now, after 2,000 riyals, right, that means about what is it? About $200 or $300. After $200 or $300, that yeah, it was actually not even 2,000. I think it was like 5,000 or 4,000.
There are strict conditions. There are strict conditions.
There's
It's
strict
not that
conditions on
anybody
this.
like you. You won't go steal a gum and then they're gonna be like, yes, we're gonna chop your hands off. But
It doesn't work like that.
you said something that is nice. You said that the Quran is not wrong. Is that correct, NPC?
I'm saying that I don't have a problem with the religion. I have a
Sure.
problem with how the way some people interpret it. And I feel like what
Sure.
you guys
Sure.
aren't appreciating about what I'm saying is that Sharia law makes that the people who misinterpret it, it makes it so that the things that they do cause a lot of issues for everybody. That's the reason why I'm
And
against
this
Sharia law.
yeah, and this is why we condemn people like the ones you mentioned. You said Boko Haram. We don't support that. We are not part of that. We see
Yeah,
them
but at the
as
same time, you guys
terrorists.
defend Sharia.
But here, no, no, but here, and another thing, Sharia law actually comes from the Quran. But again, for you to apply Sharia law properly, you need to have a just leader. But going back to the question I asked you about the gun now, since it's legal for you to own a gun in the U.S. in your household, when you go out publicly and you say, for example, if somebody comes on my property, I'm gonna shoot him. What is that gonna do to that person who was thinking about robbing you or coming onto your property?
Uh, I understand consequences. I'm
So
not
you
against
understand that. So
consequences.
this
I
is
understand
literally what
consequences, but like
this is literally what Sharia law is. It's a preventative measure. When you hear that, for example, if you're gonna steal, the punishment is severe, you're gonna think 700 times before you even think about stealing something. When you know that the punishment is severe for
If you
raping a
cheat on
child,
if you
well,
cheat on your
listen,
husband,
man. Let me finish. Let me
yeah, go
finish.
ahead.
When you hear that the punishment is severe to become a pedophile, similar to the thousands that you have in the U.S., you're gonna think 1,000 times before you even decide to do something, right? So it's more of a preventative measure. And again, when it goes to the punishments is not encouraged. It's the last, option, let's say, when it comes to applying that law.
I believe you.
And again, to apply Sharia law, you need a just leader, just like you said, so nobody interpret, Sharia law the way that works for them, if that makes sense.
You know what? You're completely correct. That's why there's no one currently misinterpreting Sharia right now to their own
And
ends,
we'll
and we don't
and
have
we'll
any
and we'll
problems.
no, we agree with you that there's no one is just enough to apply Sharia law. Like, nobody is applying Sharia law.
Yeah, so like that's that's the only thing I'm saying. So if the thing in its purest form isn't being practiced and people are bastardizing it and using it incorrectly, just like what happens in a lot of religions, and I say, hey, this one mechanism, if this wasn't allowed for governments to do this, it would take away people's power to even misinterpret it. That's the only thing that I'm saying. Because when you look at the Old Testament, there's a lot of things that happen in the Old Testament, but the thing with the Christians is that they kind of modernize their religion. Like even my fucking Pope, the Pope allows gay people in the church now. That and so like so, but with Islam, Islam there's an integrity to Islam because Islam tries to be as close to the original as possible and never change. And never changing comes with drawbacks. And I think there's a cultural mismatch in some instances. And when that cultural mismatch is applied to law,
But
that's when it's actually an issue.
but do you think it's right for the Catholic Church to allow the LGBTQ in the church?
It's not about me thinking it's right. It's about
No,
me
no, I'm
saying
asking
that
your
there's a
opinion.
level of flexibility and that there's a level of flexibility. That's what I'm talking about.
But if it's not allowed, right? If the religion says this is not allowed, and then you want to come and decide to no, we need to modernize and go against what the religion says, then it's no longer the religion, right? You just changed it.
Well, so this is what I mean. So there's multiple sins: adultery, stealing, fornicating. I don't know how many people are not fornicators. There's vastly more fornicators. If we didn't allow fornicators into the church, nobody would be in church. So when I look at sins of the flesh, everyone's a sinner. In the theology of Christianity, you're supposed to be striving for perfection, but know that you're never going to reach it, but try to reach it with a level of sincerity in your heart. So for me to say that a gay person can't come to church because he's gay, that would mean that I can't come to church because I've stolen before. I can't come to church
I
because
get what you're saying.
like I'm not a virgin.
I
You
know,
understand?
so I thought, I mean, coming to church is different from supporting, right?
No, no, he's
So,
not supporting them. He is not
okay,
supporting them,
that's
but
what I thought. That's what I
he's
thought.
he's like he's saying they shouldn't be stopped from coming to church and they shouldn't be like judged eh, because everybody's a sinner.
Yeah,
So
well,
to judge
you
them is
don't
to
have to
judge
be.
yourself.
Yeah, well, you don't have to be perfect to be Muslim, bro. In Islam, it's not like you come to Islam perfect. That's not what Islam says. I mean, probably plenty of gays go to the mosque and pray, like what I mean. But Islam is not gonna say, "Oh, it's 2025. This is a LGBTQ mosque."
Oh no 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 no!
You
I
know what I mean?
wasn't. I did not mean that Christianity was becoming trendy. No, like no. I meant that I meant that it was
But
just a little bit
some
more
churches are,
lenient.
bro. Some
It was more lenient
like the Protestant churches are. There's a church I walk right when I go to my mosque. I pass this church and they got the LGBTQ flag and everything on right there, like waving next to the Christian flag or whatever for the church for the country I live in. Right. I mean, I'm not against it. I don't care. It's not. It's not. I just find it like it's. That's not what that religion is. Supposed to be against stuff like that, or like, allow them in your church. But why are you promoting it like that?
Yeah, yeah.
Also, would it be fair, NPC, now to your example, the Pope, yeah, which is a very important figure when it comes to the religion. Would it be fair for like someone outside of that religion to come say, "Oh, look at these Christians, they're doing this, they're doing that"? Do you think that's fair?
There's plenty of Muslims critique the Pope's decision, and
Yeah, the Pope,
I
but
don't think it's unfair because plenty of Christians critique his decision. I don't think it's unfair. I
yeah,
don't think
but
it's
no,
unfair,
what I
but
meant,
the thing is that they
no,
just don't
no,
have any control of what goes on. But I don't think it's
no.
unfair to
Well, what?
criticize anything.
No, we can criticize them, but what I'm saying is, it you think it's fair for us to come and blame everybody who's following this faith for the actions of the Pope?
No, to blame everyone who's following the faithful actions of the Pope, I think that's unfair. But I don't think that's
Yeah,
happened in
it's
this
it, it,
conversation
it
or vice versa.
yeah, it's the same thing for us when some people decide to bring up these extremist groups that represent zero thing about the Islam, like they don't represent us at all, and try to make the connection between Muslim Islam and their acts. I don't
But
think that's
a lot of moderate Muslims support Sharia, and I don't think Sharia is.
Have you ever looked up Sharia and what Sharia is, what the conditions are, how is it applied, what terms do the people applying Sharia need to follow, and all that stuff? Have you ever actually invested in looking into it, or is it just based on what you see on TV and hear from a couple of friends and
Well,
all that
what
stuff?
you told me today, I don't agree with.
Which is,
If a person steals, I don't think I should have the right to cut off their hand.
But then
yeah, I
that's
mean,
not
I
no,
Sharia.
agree
no, no, no,
with
no,
it being a
There
deterrent.
are
Like I
there's
agree
no.
with that,
more
but I don't
details
believe.
into it. Just
I,
like how
I,
they explain there's a minimum amount or a maximum amount and stuff. It's not just simple as cutting off your hand and that's it.
No, but it
There's more into
happens.
it. It
So
happens, yeah, it
but
depends, it
but
again,
it
depends.
again,
happens.
Yeah, so the same thing applies to all laws. The law in Japan is different than in the US, different than in India, in Africa, everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're gonna defend
There
Sharia, I
are,
disagree with
yeah,
so
you.
I don't
That's
think
NPC,
fine.
I have
So
a
I don't
question.
know
treatment,
why
N,
you're defending
N,
punishment.
Sharia.
So, in
NPC.
relate to the
I
robbery
don't.
that happened at my store, I just want to ask him one question. Abu,
No, one
just one
second, one
second.
second, one second. So it's
I
not
gotta ask
fair
him
for
because
you
I'm
guys
the
to
one that
kill
gave him the
somebody
situation, brother.
who's just
I
simply
gotta,
robbing your house.
yeah, I need to give him the situation. So, NPC, would it be justified if they would have killed that kid that was working at my store? He was in his 20s, 21, 22. Would it have been justified to chop his hands after they killed that kid?
Would it be justified?
Yes.
I think chopping off hands for theft is extreme. What do
No,
you
no,
think?
not theft. Killed him. They, let's say, because it has happened multiple times at different stores in Los Angeles. It happens all the time. Not only they come and rob you, they beat you up. They even shoot you in the head. There was a kid in Torrance, California. He's a Korean. He comes from a Korean background. He's a young student, like 23 years old. This was posted in LA Times a long time ago. Not only they robbed the liquor store, they shot him point blank on his forehead. So my question to you, would it be justified if somebody was to shoot you in the head, would it be justified to chop his hand for and would it be justified to just chop his hands off for doing what he did
So, are you saying if someone
instead of
commits,
killing instead of killing
if someone commits an aggravated robbery and
yes,
commits violence during the act of a robbery, are you asking
yes,
me is it justified to cut off their hand after that?
yeah, because he shot you and you survived, would it be justified to chop his hands off?
Hmm.
But again, keep in mind, NPC. Keep in
That's a good
mind when it comes.
question.
No, but also keep in mind that punishment
That's
when
what
it
ended
comes
up
to
happening. They beat
Sharia
up the
law,
kid at my store. They were going to kill him.
it's it's the last option when it comes to punishment under Sharia law. So it's not as simple as it sounds. Like, oh, somebody robbed something. Yes, let's go chop his hands off. That's not how it works. You know?
Yeah, as they said, If that person stole bread, then they can just forgive him and do nothing. But if that person stole $50,000, then they have the right to either ask that person to pay it back or get his hand chopped.
They
And
did it
that's
at my store,
fair.
$8,000, $8,000, and they were gonna kill the kid. Now my question is, I think it would be justified because he just shot him in the head, and the kid survived. So if the kid survived, then he gets to choose what he wants to do with the person that shot him in the head, chopping off the hand, chopping off his leg, whatever the fuck, because because that guy committed crimes. I mean, try to kill him. You see what I'm saying? So that's up to the guy, up to the victim to decide. Like the store owner is a victim. The guy that got shot, he's a victim. He gets to decide. Chopping off the hand, and it's up to the guy. And there's no jail time. If the guy says he wants to forgive him, there'll be no jail time. He'll be like, okay, you're good to go. And the state saves money as well. You don't have to fucking lock anybody up. Like for 10 years, 50 years. In America, we have like people stuck in there for 75 years, 100 years, or 150 years. But anyways, I think you need to do a deep dive into it. NPC, play with you have an AI, Chat GPT or something? You have a Chat GPT or Perplexity?
Yeah, I'm using Perplexity right now.
Okay, use Perplexity and play with it back and forth, right? Whenever you get a chance, just play with the Sharia, that what would happen under Sharia and how is it justified, and it will give you all the, because it does a deep dive. Perplexity is pretty good. It does a deep dive and it connects all the dots to it. How is it justified? And do a comparison study with the Christianity back in the days, and the comparison with the Judaism. The Jewish law and the Sharia law, it's actually similar in a lot of different forms. But the Jews, they have this concept of charging interest to goys versus the people. I mean, people that are not Jews, they'll charge them interest. But if you're Jewish, they won't charge you interest. But in Muslim, interest is not allowed at all.
And Sharia law is not about punishment, NPC, by the way, yeah?
Yeah,
So
it's not just
definitely look
about
into
punishment.
it.
There's a
And
lot of other things to it.
punishment is just a small part of Sharia law.
And correct me, guys, if I'm wrong, but if the country was poor and like the governor was not paying the people and that person stole bread, for instance, then the government should pay for the store owner, right? Not the thief.
I think
What do you
but
mean?
That's what
the
Sharia says, I think.
yeah, it depends on the state how they have this set up, and but the book literally promotes the idea of forgiving. Somebody that forgives the person, he's a bigger person than a person that doesn't forgive the person. You see what I'm saying? So it's best to forgive them if you can. And the bread thing, you don't have to worry about it. It's a pretty big amount before before you're given a chance. So before a store owner is given a chance to, do you want his head chopped off, or do you want him to pay you installments or money, this and that. And a lot of people, they don't really even pick the chopping the hand. Some people do in certain instances, right? But it depends on the robbery amount. If the person can't pay back, or to set an example. How do you set an example? It's just like a scare tactic.
But I'm not against negative
Right.
reinforcement. Like I'm not against negative reinforcement. My whole
Right.
entire point is that when you have a legal system
Hmm.
based on God's will, it's up to the person who's interpreting God's will. So if a person interprets it wrong, now they're using their perception of God's will to enforce a justification for a behavior. And if you believe that that's God, like thinking something is God's will is a lot stronger than thinking something is just illegal. Like if I don't pay if it's God's will for me to pay my taxes versus it's just illegal for me to pay my taxes, that's different. For people who dodge taxes,
NPC,
like I don't
NPC.
care. But if those people
But
are breaking God's law, then those are bad people and they need to be dealt with. It's a bigger. I think it's a bigger crime to break God's will than to break the law. But when both of those things are the same thing, that's a very powerful, and I don't think it should exist.
NPC, by the way, these punishments that people usually refer to, they're where to happen, and historically, they're where to happen. Yeah. Now, forget about the extremist groups that maybe you made reference to, but historically, when it comes to Muslims and Islam, those type of punishments rarely happen. But here, let me give you an example. So when it comes to adultery, for example, yeah, you need four eyewitnesses for you to even think about the punishment. When it comes to theft, you need two reliable eyewitnesses. Now, this is the most important part, yeah? Any doubts that you may have with regards to whatever took place automatically cancels the punishment. Automatically. Like you can't even proceed with the punishment. And we need to avoid punishment as much as we can. So we are ordered to avoid punishment as much as we can. And the Quran teaches us that to be merciful, to forgive. And this is why you don't see it happening, along with us not having a proper, or let's say a fit leader to apply Sharia law. But it's funny when people mention Sharia law, they automatically go to punishment, which is not even the major part in Sharia law. Do you know anything else about Sharia law other
Yeah,
than
exactly.
punishments?
I was gonna say that, Abu Ubaida, because it's not just that. Sharia is something huge. You have to read it and you have to understand it. The government or the governor has to be fair with everyone. They have to pay the poor as well. There is something called zakat. What is it called in English? Tithing. So the poor would get money from the government. The chance of the poor stealing food is not really high. Now, this law applies to thieves who steal money or steal something big, not just bread. As Abu Ubaida said, you have to understand Sharia. It's more than just cutting off hands.
It's a way of living that
No,
was done there.
I know it's more. Wait, it's obvious it's more than cutting off hands. It's also about stoning, whores and a
No,
lot of
no.
other
See,
things.
see, see. Again, you're going back. Like I don't even like the fact that you mentioned cutting hair, because again, like there are strict laws and conditions before any type of punishment is to be applied,
Wow.
and that's why it's rare. And that's why it's rare to happen in history. But you keep jumping back, talking about the punishments, man. You literally just said that you're willing to fucking shoot a person dead if if he robs your house. So you have an issue with cutting someone's hand off for stealing, but you don't have an issue with shooting someone dead.
Right, you're amazing, Abu. That's a wonderful example. Fire, thank you so much for explaining that, what you just said earlier. It's amazing. There's so much to it than the little that we know. And that's why we need to come together and educate people on things that we have no bloody idea about. Thank you.
Thank you, Habibti.
Just
Yeah,
go
you know
like
what?
just go.
I also want to thank you guys too. Thank you guys for telling me when it's right to cut off people's hands and when it's not right to cut off people's hands
Yeah,
based on
and thank
God's
you to
will.
tell us. Thank you for letting us know that it's okay to shoot someone and kill him for the exact same reason that we maybe Sharia Allah decides to cut his hands off and give him another chance in life. So thank you for letting us know that. And you didn't even spend 5 minutes looking up what is Sharia law, what falls under Sharia law, what is the main
No,
reason for Sharia
Abu
law,
Ubaida,
you know.
he's against the punishment after a crime
No, I'm
happening,
not against the
but he's not.
punishment. I'm
Let me
not
just
against
finish.
the
But he's
punishment.
not against
I'm
punishing
against
someone
law.
before
I'm
committing
against
a
law.
crime. Just because someone came into your store, you want to kill them, or your house, before you understand why they came into your house, before committing a crime, that's okay. But someone stealing from you 50,000 pounds or dollars, that's not okay to cut off their hands. That's like ironic. That's stupid.
So the only thing that I'm saying is that this isn't. I just think that the punishments are funny. This isn't
Does
about
your
the
law
punishment
teach
for
you to
me
forgive
because
those
the punishment
house
for me
robbers,
is
NPC?
arbitrary. Actually, the
Does
punishment
the
for me
same
is
law that
arbitrary.
allowed you to hold a gun
I keep
in
talking
your
about.
house teach you to be merciful to anyone who is to rob your house? No,
What
right?
happened?
It tells you you can just shoot them and kill them.
Yeah, what if that person who came into your house wanted bread only? Why would you kill them? At least the punishment in Islamic Sharia is not like that.
Yeah, so it's not about the punishment for me. It's not about the punishment. I keep
Isn't that what
repeating.
you mentioned? You mentioned the punishment. You mentioned
No,
the
wait,
cutting
wait,
off of
wait, wait. Okay,
hands.
okay. Oh, no, it's
It's
okay, okay,
No,
okay.
literally
it's not about
You,
the punishment.
you
I
can say
keep the
that.
thing
that's
Yes,
why
the
you
my,
keep
my
on
my problem
changing
with
your
Sharia, the thing
words.
is that like I don't
NPC,
know,
all
like
you
you guys,
do to
okay, so like
really
okay, so if I say it's not about
let him.
something and then you want me to
It's okay, it's
clarify,
okay.
or do you want to keep repeating the same thing you've been
No,
repeating?
go ahead, clarify. So it's not about the punishment you said, is that right?
No, it's not, because I'm not against the punishment actually. I'm not
Okay.
against the punishment actually. What I'm
Okay, Sharia
saying, and
law
what I
is not
keep
about the
describing,
punishment.
what I keep describing is
Yeah.
how the idea of connecting divine rules to government rules, how that can easily be hijacked, and how a person misinterpreting God's word can lead to very, very bad outcomes because that's tied to government infrastructure. That's what I keep describing as Sharia law. So
Can you tell us?
I'm against the idea of adding divine law into a state apparatus and having your
Mhm.
society work that way.
Can you tell us
So you don't want
what kind of laws did the Romans and Crusades applied on robbing? Tell us they were running by Christian,
I
right?
believe there should be a
Bible.
separation of church and state.
No,
That's
no. I'm
why.
asking
So
you,
that's a very simple idea.
what kind of laws did the Crusaders and the Roman applied if somebody was to rob you?
The reason why you guys can, there's a lot of things. I think
Uh,
it's very interesting.
he's not
The
gonna mention
times when you
this.
guys decide,
I'll read
there's
it out
times
to
no,
when
you
you
it's
guys
guys.
decide to like attack what I say directly, and other times where you decide to ignore it. And the
No,
reason why
we're
you guys
not
are ignoring it is
ignoring
because you can't.
NPC.
No, no. The reason why you guys are ignoring what I'm saying and try to straw man what I'm saying is because you cannot make a logical argument for you can't make a
but
logical argument against the separation
NPC
between church and state.
but
I believe that
NPC
there should be
you're
a
not
separation
making.
between church and state, and Sharia law is the opposite of
No,
that.
no, I'm asking you, what kind of punishment did they do under Crusaders and Roman if somebody
Well,
was to
why is
rob
that
you?
relevant to what I'm
Hold
saying?
on, I'll read it out to the
Why
people.
is that relevant to what I'm saying?
It's relevant. It's very relevant, right? You're here criticizing Sharia, Roman, which was ruled under Christians, right? They were civilians, fines, 4 times stolen value restitution, flogging, enslavement, or death for manifest theft, caught in act, or slave theft. Soldiers, this was beaten, stoned to death by comrades for camp theft, desertion, fines, flogging or sack of snakes, drowning for treason, theft, no standard hand cutting. Crusades era punishments, thefts, fine, flogging, hand loss. Medieval Europe generally, or hanging for severe cases. Crusaders orders used irons, habit stripping, exile for internal theft, robbery, Richard's Law, shorn head, boiling tar, feathers, cast ashore, humiliation, striking drew blood equals hand loss, killing equals burial with victim. And then you want to
That's
come up here and
horrible.
fucking criticize it. Oh my
Yeah,
God. This
yeah,
was
man, that's
under
horrible.
Crusaders and Roman.
That's
Uh,
horrible. That is horrible, Amir,
No,
and it's fact. Yeah,
yeah,
the
that's
problem
horrible.
how are
NPC.
the but none of those laws were supported by Christianity.
No,
That,
correct, because Jesus said you should just share it. If they don't want it, he said, brush the dust off your feet and go to the next city. He didn't say debate. He didn't say put a gun on their face. He just share it. If they want it, go to the next. That's all what he said. So all that what happened in the past is not Christianity. I don't know. They just did it to their
no,
own
Mitch, but
sweetness.
Yeah, so
there's a verse in the
my
Bible.
whole
It's up to
entire
the
point, and
state.
just like I was
NPC, did you
saying,
know that there's a verse in the Bible that says it's up to the state to decide?
yeah,
I don't
it's
know,
Me,
but
up.
I've read
I
that he
went back
said
and forth with Benny Adam before. There's a verse in the Bible that talks about it's up to the state to decide.
But that still doesn't prove your point.
Oh, it does
no,
prove
because
it.
you're
because
not
it,
allowed
So
because
if the
because in
state
the
be
NPC, if
violent.
the
You're not
state
allowed to be
decides to chop
violent.
off a hand, then you don't have a saying in this. It's up to the
if there's a
state.
saying if there's a verse, let's assume that there's a verse in the Bible that says it's up to the state to decide. That literally means that in the Bible it says that there should be a separation of church and state.
No,
I'm
it
just talking about a
doesn't.
separation between church and state.
It doesn't
What are
Well,
say
you
that.
talking about?
you
No,
no, not
but
by
NPC. If
sharing the
let me ask you this
gospel, not
question,
through
Let me
violence.
wait, hold on, Mitch. Just 1 second, 1 second. So NPC, if I understood you correctly, yeah, your issue is if Sharia law falls under the hands of maybe some extremists that don't apply it properly, and misuse it, then that's an issue. Is that correct? Is that maybe what I understood from you?
So what I'm saying is that the reason why I believe that there should always be a church and state is that it's very, very different. And the reason why the United States has a criminal culture that a lot
No,
of
no, I'm not talking about churches and states because I'm not
no, no,
fully
no. You have
like
to
I don't
listen to
have
what I'm
that.
saying, because if you listen to what I'm saying, I'm answering your question, dude.
You go ahead.
I'm answering a question. What I'm saying
Yeah.
is that I believe in the separation between church and state no matter what. Because what you have is, when you don't have a separation between church and state, you have the state's law becomes divine law. And divine law to me is the most supreme law of the land. That means no matter what the state does, it's in accordance with God on paper, and you're justified to do whatever you believe is justified. And it's up to the person who's interpreting that text to tell you that this is not only illegal what you're doing, it's against the will of God. And we're going to use the state, and we're going to use a political entity to enforce that. I do not believe in that. So
Okay.
because the reason why I
Okay,
don't is because
but
anybody can come in and bastardize it, and then you have a situation where not all, it's only the majority. They're not real Muslims. They're not practicing real Sharia.
are you against living in a country that follows the law according to your religion, your book?
Yes,
Why is that?
because there should always be a separation between church and state.
But don't you think that your book, if the, I'm, and this is just a question, don't you think maybe your book is going to be more fair than the state?
It doesn't matter if my book is more fair than the state.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Okay,
No,
but
it doesn't
anyways, the
matter.
point that
Be,
oh,
be,
sure, sure. The-
because the difference is that if I don't agree with a, let's say because I'm Catholic and I
I
believe
mean,
that
you
I
cannot
actually,
agree
to be
with
honest
the
with you,
state
I
and
think that
PC.
Muslim societies have more social cohesion. I believe there's a lot of Muslim societies that are better than Western societies. That's number one. What I'm saying is that there's actually a lot about religion that I think should be applied. I still think there should be a separation between church and state. And the reason
The
why,
if you think some of it should be applied, why not just fix the whole system and apply,
no, no, I keep,
your
but you don't know. It isn't fixing the system, because
uh
because
replacing the system.
what I decide is fixing the system today, another person can say, hey, the last person who this person fixed the system. These are the divine rules. This is truly what God thinks is right and wrong. And I'm the new religious
Okay.
leader. This is what I think is right and wrong. No.
No, but
Like
if you
you
have a
have to
fair,
separate
if you
God from politics. You have to.
if
You have to.
but if you have a fair and just leader, you won't have to worry about what his
Yeah, but
decisions or what
the
his
thing
will,
is,
because
is that what do you keep
he's
saying?
gonna follow
But
your book.
Abu, this is the reason why moderate Muslims is like an oxymoron, because on one hand you say don't talk about those extreme Muslims because they're not practicing Islam, they're not practicing Sharia, and then on the other hand you say, but if a person has a just leader, one thing is guaranteed is that there's going to be good leaders and bad leaders. The damage
Sure.
that bad leaders do is so much more than the good that good leaders do.
And this
So
is why you
just don't even
can't
have
full
it baked in the cake.
and
I-
yeah,
If
but
you're
and
gonna
this
have
is why you
politics,
can't
have it
apply.
on a secular basis, and then worship your God and have your own moral framework, and leave that as a personal matter.
And this is why we don't have Sharia law that is being applied properly, is because we don't have that just leader that
No,
would
but
apply
there's
Sharia law
never going to be,
properly.
if there ever is a just leader, he's not going to be around forever. So
Okay.
why have a law that's going to be mostly bastardized in the name of God, when it's even against God and God doesn't even accept what you're doing? And then you're enforcing rules based on something that's not even his word and spitting in his face, and then telling me that Sharia should be applied because it makes society better, when most of the time it's applied, it's not even followed correctly. So
So
why even apply
okay,
it at
but
all?
now, no, yeah, no. Again, it does make society better in a lot of different ways, and again, like it cannot be applied or it cannot be practiced nowadays because we don't have that just leader. But let me just go back to what you said earlier. You said that you have an issue with Sharia law because of some of these groups that are misusing it or misapplying it. Is that correct?
I have a problem with Sharia because it's always going to be misinterpreted in the vast majority of cases.
So if that's, a hypothetical, I'm trying to understand where you're coming from. Just a hypothetical. If it wasn't misinterpreted and if it was practiced and applied in the righteous way, are you okay with it?
If it was applied in the righteous way, there wouldn't be
Yeah.
any problems for me to complain about.
Okay, so your issue is not with Sharia law. Your issue is with some of these people that misinterpret Sharia law and do whatever the hell they think is right. Is that correct?
My problem is with both. I have a problem with people who
And
misinterpret it, but
how can
I
you?
also have a problem with its existence because I understand human nature and it's always going to be misinterpreted. And the consequences for misinterpreting a divine framework that's applied to a political um, mechanism is really dangerous.
So which one is it? Is it that you have an issue with the mechanism of Sharia
Both.
law, or do you have an issue with? Okay, what issue do you have with Sharia law?
The issue that I have with Sharia law is that there isn't a separation between church and state, and I believe that there should always be a separation between church and state.
Actually, let's start here to make sure that you fully understand what is Sharia law.
Sharia law is God's divine law.
No, no, break it down for me. You can't just say Sharia law is God's divine law.
That's what the other dude told me.
Oh, so you don't know it, like
Yeah,
you
what do
never
you
actually looked
understand from
into
that
it,
That's what
sentence?
never
when he said it, you
studied
didn't
it.
tell me you didn't know.
Okay, what do you understand from what he
No, I
said
didn't.
before
I
you?
I
actually
just
didn't hear
repeated what
him.
I
I was
understood
doing
from what
other
he
stuff
said.
from my end.
Okay, and what did you
Okay,
understand
so
from it?
I just said what I understood.
so your
It's
knowledge when
God's
it comes to
divine
Sharia
law.
law. One second. So your knowledge when it comes to Sharia law is coming from a person that told you something.
You mean Amir?
It doesn't matter. I'm not. I'm not making it specific about whoever it is, but your knowledge of Sharia law came throughout a conversation that you had with someone. Is that correct? Is that what you're saying?
Muslims tell me about Sharia law. I
Man,
listen to what they
forget
say and I
about
say I don't
Muslims.
like
Man,
those
forget about
ideas.
Muslims. I'm
No,
asking you
but
a
the
simple,
people who tell me
straight
about Sharia
question.
law are Muslims, and every single time they tell me
So did
about it,
you?
I'm like,
So did you ever
I don't
like
agree with it.
invest? Did you ever took time out of your day to look up Sharia law to study what Sharia law is?
I'm pretty sure the more I read, the more I'm not gonna like, and I don't like it from
Man,
its inception.
whether you man, I'm not asking you if you're gonna
Well,
like it or not. I'm asking you
exactly,
if you took 5 minutes out of your day to look up Sharia law and understand what Sharia law is.
exactly.
Can I?
That's a
Do you know?
simple
Wait,
question.
wait. Do you know about do you know about Sharia law?
Listen,
Man, I'm
can I
asking.
just
Why
put
are you
this
asking me the same question? Why are you
before you
asking me
No,
the
I
same
know. I'm
question?
asking
before
you
you
that question
unleash
because I'm asking
everything?
you. I'm asking you because I want to make sure. Is Sharia does Sharia law tie in the government with God's law? Does it do that?
NPC, it's irrelevant whether or
No,
not I
that's what I
know Sharia
disagree
law.
with. I don't need
One
to.
second,
I don't
but one
disagree with
second,
chopping off hands. Listen, if a
but one
person goes into a
second,
store
NPC.
and steals
Yeah,
$50,000 and doesn't pay it back, I'm not
yeah.
agree. I don't disagree
But
with
that's
chopping
not
off their hand.
that's not how it works.
This
That's
is
not how it
about
works.
this isn't
I
about
don't, you're not
research.
chopping up
I don't
heads
need
for
to
that.
research to understand
But
that
that's not how it works. But you
with
absolutely do. Like,
I disagree with any country that doesn't have
how,
a separation between church and state.
but how
So
can you?
stop asking these
How
credibility
so?
questions about me
Well,
doing
no,
research.
I will ask you
Sharia
these
law is putting
questions. I will
religion and
ask you these
tying it with
If you're
questions.
politics.
gonna
I disagree with it.
disagree, NPC, if you're gonna disagree about
But
something, you should know about it at
Is
least.
Sharia law tying
Exactly.
church and state? Yes or no?
one second,
No, no, no.
one
Just
second.
answer the
Yeah,
question.
NPC.
Is
No,
Sharia
no, I'm
law
not. I'm
tying
not.
because you guys want to
You're not.
gaslight me?
Listen.
Is
I'm not
Sharia law tying
gaslighting
church
you,
and
man.
state?
I'm
Yes or no?
NPC
You're the one that
No,
hasn't
actually, I'm
NPC.
gonna
typed
ask
it. You're
Edward.
saying you're
Edward.
against it, so you
Edward.
should be able to tell us.
Edward. Does Sharia law tie in church and state? Yes or no?
Why
NPC,
you're
shouldn't
getting
you be
triggered now?
answering this
Like, is
question
that
because you're the
I
one
know
making
the
the
answers
claim?
to the question. Do you know the answers to the question?
I do, but I'm not the
so?
one making the
No, no.
claim.
So does it?
I'm not
Yes
the
or
one
no?
making the claim.
No, I made
What?
NPC,
the claim. They
NPC.
don't even disagree. They've never even disagreed with any of my claims.
No, I'm
So
asking. You're
you
saying you
No,
don't. You
they've never
dislike
disagreed
something.
with any of my
Well,
claims.
Abu
Tell
just
me I'm
asked
saying
you.
something wrong.
No,
Anytime
NPC.
I've never said any, they've never said
No,
I said anything
okay,
wrong.
I didn't say
They
that.
just say I don't know enough.
fuck,
You
man.
just
NPC.
got here. I'm
NPC.
I'm not.
asking. The only problem I have with
NPC.
No,
Sharia
Abu
law
no.
is
just.
that it
I
doesn't
heard Abu
separate
ask
church and
you
state. I'm
about
asking.
Sharia
Dude,
law. I heard
Go
Abu
ahead.
ask you about
dude,
Sharia law if
you.
you took the time to study it. And
I
Yeah,
if
but
you
you're
know,
lying
I
now
know enough
because
about
about
Sharia law
something
to
and you
know
don't
that
know
there
anything
is not
about
a
it, how can you
separation.
disagree?
Sharia law literally means church and state
uh-huh.
are one. That's what it
No,
means.
no, it doesn't mean that.
So how is Sharia law enforced?
You look it up.
No. Tell me, how is Sharia law
Look it up.
enforced?
No, you
No,
look. I
tell me
want you to look it
how
up.
is Sharia law
No, 1 second.
enforced?
NPC. I want you to
Who
look it up and
enforces
read the
Sharia
answer.
law?
NPC, look it up and read the answer for us.
All right.
I don't know why you're triggered, man. I
Because you
never
guys
said
are
that you don't know
gaslighting
about
us for no
Sharia
reason.
law. I never said you don't know about Sharia law. I simply asked you a
Stop,
question.
stop,
If you
stop
took,
gaslighting.
I
Normally you guys are
simply,
more direct. Stop
man, I
gaslighting.
asked you a
Stop
question.
gaslighting.
If you took time out
Stop
of your day
gaslighting.
to look,
Stop
I'm not
gaslighting.
gaslighting
No,
you.
he's not
I'm not
These
gaslighting
questions
gaslighting.
you.
are meant. These questions are meant to like attack credibility.
I'm
And the
literally,
No,
only
I'm
thing I'm
no,
saying
literally
is
nobody.
that the
addressing.
way that Sharia
He
law
hasn't
is
attacked you.
enforced
No
is
one has
through the
attacked
state,
you.
and I disagree with that. And every single
You're
time I
weak.
ask you guys a question, hey, does it do it? You guys say, don't ask me, look it up. When I look
No,
it up and it
you're
says,
weak. You're
when
weak.
I
You're
look it
weak.
up,
You're gaslighting right now. You're weak, man.
right?
Just you should
I
know
simply
about
asked
Sharia
you
law. That's all. If you're gonna,
yeah, yeah, that was my question. Like, did you
yeah.
ever take time out of your day to look it up? You said no. I heard it from another guy, and I asked you. So your
I didn't say heard it
understanding
from
of
another guy.
Sharia law.
Amir told me what it was. Amir just
I
told me
didn't
what it
ask
was.
you.
I
I
had a
didn't ask.
perception of
I
what it
didn't.
was.
Yeah,
What he told me about what
yeah.
it was matched my perception about what it was, and I disagree with it. I believe that there should be a separation between church and state, and that is the only reason why I disagree with the concept of Sharia law. I
Okay.
don't
So did
even
you take?
disagree with the
Yeah,
laws. I don't even
yeah,
disagree with the laws the way that they're written for most of them.
yeah.
I just disagree with
Sure,
the idea of church and state being connected in any way when it comes to
sure.
like governance.
So you're saying that you took
So
time
Mm.
tell
out
me
of
that
your day
Sharia
to
law doesn't
study
do that instead of tell me I don't know shit.
NPC. NPC. I never said you don't know shit. I simply asked you if you took time out of your day to
No,
study
but
and look up what Sharia
why
law
can't
is.
you just answer the question? Does Sharia law connect church and state?
Can you define what Sharia law is?
I already said that it's God's law.
That's not a good
So
answer.
I do have just
That's the answer that
forget
Amir
it.
gave me. So
I
that means
think
Amir's
look,
answer isn't a
So
good answer.
so your understanding
we're
of
not
Sharia
gonna
law
get
comes from
anywhere.
Amir.
Abu, just leave it, bro. Khalas, we're done.
No, no, but Amir
I
gave me
want
that
to.
answer.
This
When
room is
Amir gave you
about
the answer,
Palestine,
you didn't
Israel.
tell Amir that it wasn't a good
I
answer.
think
You
we're
just
done with
said
it.
Here,
We're
I just
done.
want to tell him
We're
one
done.
last
so
thing.
Sharia law doesn't mean
We're
God's
done with
law.
it, bro. We're done with the religious
One last thing.
conversation.
One last thing. So the beauty about
I
So
wanna pivot.
Sharia law
NPC.
doesn't
Yeah,
mean God's law.
one
It
last
doesn't
thing.
mean
One last
that.
thing. NPC. So the beauty about Islam is that it encourages people to seek knowledge. Yeah. Before you put yourself on a stage and act like you know about something, I do encourage you to go look up those things that you want to talk about, get an understanding on them, try to understand the meanings, definitions, what falls under those definitions, and then come put yourself on stage and have the
Yeah,
discussion.
fully
I'm
agree.
not gaslighting you. I'm not saying that you have no knowledge. I'm not saying you're dumb or anything like that. But it's a good practice to just go look it up before you open your
Absolutely.
mouth and start talking about it, dude.
Exactly.
Like,
That's
simple.
correct.
Learn it point for point for point before you go and argue about it. 'Cause it's just pointless. You're just picking something out of thin air. Just please, just
I think that
please.
I think you guys are liars. And I don't think you're lying
I would have
intentionally.
no.
I
I
think no,
asked you to
I think
read
you're just,
it.
I think you're communicating in a very, very dishonest way, and I think you're
But
practicing very good
Because
rhetoric.
you put.
I'm going
no,
to
no,
use
no,
your
We're
no,
not.
rhetoric
no,
in a
no,
We're
no.
not.
courtroom
How
because
is
what you
it?
guys are
Seriously.
How
doing.
is it?
No, but the thing is that I've been very specific. At first, you guys told me be specific, don't generalize, and then I got specific about what I specifically don't like, and I said that when it
You,
comes to what
uh-huh.
Islam stands for, I agree with it. So then when I clarified and I said I don't agree with Sharia law, and I tell you what I don't agree with it with, now it's I don't know enough. And I say,
No,
okay, maybe maybe
NPC. I think you're too
Sure, sure,
sensitive.
wait.
sure.
We're
I'm
just
about
Let
to
him.
land.
Let
No,
him.
I'm
Let him.
about
Let
to
him.
wait.
Let
no.
him.
I'm about to land.
Yeah. Let him. Let
And
him.
then I
Let
say,
him.
Uh,
Yeah. Let
and
him.
I say,
Let him.
okay, well, my perception, the only disagreement that I have with this thing is that it seems like in everywhere that it's applied, it's conjoining religious beliefs with political action, and I disagree with that. Can you tell me? Can you enforce Sharia law without the government, without the state? I keep asking that question.
Hmm.
It's connected.
NPC.
It's connected.
You know the
Yeah, we're
difference.
gonna
You know the
pivot,
difference
Abu. We're
between
gonna
me and
pivot,
you.
brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna
We will.
pivot.
We will.
I need to
But look
pivot.
at
As
look
soon as
at
Sean
look at
calms down,
look.
I'm
Sharia,
It's
no,
done.
it's not even
Sharia,
about
We're
it.
the
gonna pivot
religious
now.
legal system of is the
Thank you.
It's
religious
not
legal
about it, Amir.
system
It's not
of
about it.
Islam that
NPC.
guides ethical,
That
spiritual, and practical conduct
NPC.
of Muslims,
We're.
rather
It's
than
okay.
a
It's okay.
static
I mean,
legal code.
I tell you something.
Sharia law is a legal code. I disagree with that.
That's fine. That's fine. We could have agreed
The
to
Ten
disagree.
Commandments aren't a legal
That's
code.
fine. NPC. Just like the Romans and Crusaders applied the hand chopping, I believe in hand chopping. All right.
Yeah,
I'm I leave
Christians
it.
are criticized for the
Yeah.
Crusades constantly.
No. No.
There's a difference.
Hold on.
Listen, this is the reason
NPC.
why you guys are being dishonest. There's a
NPC.
difference between
NPC.
criticizing Christians for doing the
Hmm.
same thing and saying
Hmm.
and then gaslighting me and telling me
So
that
so
I
look,
don't know when
NPC.
Sharia law
Hold
is
on. Hold
connecting
on a
church and
second.
state.
Oh my God. Hold on a second, please. Look, you should not point fingers at other people's
I'm pointing
religions.
figure. They told me I
Hold on,
don't know. I'm reading the
NPC.
definition.
Let me finish. Let me finish. You should not point fingers at other people's religion when you have a deep, dark history of doing atrocities against people. Muslims,
That's
the
different than
Crusade.
what they said.
Hold on.
They
A
just told
motherfucker.
me that
Oh
I
my
don't know
God,
enough.
this idiot does not want to shut up. Crusaders used to eat Muslim bodies and Jewish
Do I
bodies.
deny it?
Roman.
Do
Hold
I
on.
deny it?
Oh
Do I
my
deny
God.
it?
Oh my
Do I?
God. Just shut up. Shut the fuck up.
Listen, you guys are liars.
Bro, shut up.
You guys are
Shut
liars.
the fuck up.
Then
Oh my
you guys
God.
are liars.
I gotta move you down,
L-
man. Fucking you don't want to shut up. Eh, Listen to the conversation first, and then you will have a chance to respond. When you have a deep dark history in relate to Christianity, you should not come up and point fingers at other people's Sharia law or religion or any type of belief system when you have a disgusting deep dark history in your own religion and on your own Christian culture. All right, you should not be pointing fingers at anybody. All right, and that's the end of it. That's all I'm gonna say.
so you told me I get to respond. I'm gonna respond, and
Okay.
then you
Yeah.
guys can move on and have your room back
Yeah. I'm
because
gonna move on. Yes.
we've been on this for a minute.
Yes.
There's only one because even though we've disagreed, we've been pretty cordial for most of it. This is the problem that I've had with the conversation for the last 15 minutes. It's the constant gaslighting. If you say to me that if I have a problem between church and state, look at what the Christians have done. If you said that, it would have been a very different conversation. But that's not what was said to me.
Well,
When the first thing I talked about was what I had a problem with. I was told, don't generalize, be specific. I was specific. Then I kept asking questions. This is the problem that I have. I have a problem with Sharia law because I do not believe that religious laws should be tied to legal laws. I do not believe that. I don't believe that should be
and
happening in societies.
NPC, can I?
And then my response, Edward, did you just hear him say that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
We're
then
gonna
my
prove it after
response,
he's done,
my
Edwards,
only
because
response
we've
to my
been
whole,
going at it
and
for
then
a while, bro. I'm
I was
tired.
constantly told that I need to do more research. I did the research, and all the research that I'm looking at right now is telling me that it's a legal framework. That means that there's a connection between church and state.
I told you,
So
yes,
the
there
only
is.
thing that I'm told, so at first I was told that I can't generalize. I was specific. Now I'm being told that I don't know. I need to do more research. I've done the research, and it says that Sharia law innately means a connection between church and state. The only
Yes,
disagreement
there
I
is.
have is with a
You're
connection of
making
church and
a
state. You
fallacy,
guys have
though.
made several arguments to justify the connection of church and state before the room was as big, but I'm not going to
NPC.
take any gaslighting to make it seem like I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to the connection between church
Okay,
and
but
state, because it's true.
can you can
If you criticize what the Christians did in the past, I'm gonna agree with you. The whole entire world criticizes what Christians have done in the past.
can
But when
we
we start criticizing what Muslims are
NPC?
doing now,
You're
then no one
monologuing.
knows what they're talking about.
Yeah, he's
You need to do more
monologuing. That's what he
research.
NPC,
does.
You can't
you're
generalize.
NPC. You're there's a fallacy that you're making here. You're saying, or you're equating the church and state philosophy on Islam. We don't have this concept. In Christianity, you have a hierarchy. In Islam, it's a decentralized religion. We don't have the church and state issue or problem that Christians and Jews have. So you have to start there and figure out what church and state means and if it's applicable to Islam. That's a fallacy.
Well, first of all, there's no church in Islam. It's mosque and state.
Correct. So there's no
Yeah,
church.
you're the one who's
Yeah,
mentioning
but now you're being
church.
No,
semantic
we don't have
because
mosques are not like the way you think of churches. They're independent. They're not like churches where churches are in a
I'm
network.
not being
There's a hierarchy.
church and state. It is not about a literal church building. Church and state is a metaphor for tying in religious ideology to governmental action. So
So we don't do that.
Sharia law literally
We don't.
Sharia law.
That's not how it's done, though.
So who
What I'm saying
enforces
to you,
it?
that's not what. So the only nation right now, as far as I know, that does that, and this is a modern concept, not an Islamic concept, is Iran.
Yeah.
They allow
So I'm
their
against it.
clerics. They allow their Islamic clerics to be in charge,
I know,
but
but they don't
that's an
even
exception
fully.
to the
No,
rule.
no, 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 no. They don't even fully follow Sharia law. No.
No, they don't. No,
No one,
but
no one fully follows it
they
apparently.
allow religion. Their religious scholars do have, a lot of. I wouldn't say just influence, but you know, they have a lot. They have a lot of say so in terms of the government when it comes to Iran. Islam is not like that. So scholars, the alam, the those those that could issue fatwas, they issue rulings or interpretations. They interpret the laws. They interpret what the religion is supposed to be and how people are supposed to act. But this is separate from those that govern the nation. Those that govern and those that are the scholars are separate, and the government does not have to take the scholar's opinion. They a lot of times don't,
I don't like my thing is that like I just like to have honest conversations, bro.
and that is
Like
honest.
no, no,
We don't
wait,
have the
no,
church
no,
and
no,
state
no.
You
thing.
This is what I
It's
mean
not
by honest.
applicable.
Like
you cannot have
wait,
you cannot NPC NPC. Listen.
trying to
Listen,
minimize
dude,
the effects
man. You
of
cannot have an honest
Islam on
I think
Islamic
we're
conversation.
gonna
societies
pivot, man.
It's
politically
not
I'm
an
and
tired of
effect.
this.
economically, and that's
We could
fucking
have
crazy.
effects. We're
That's
You
not
fucking
talking
cannot
about
have
Yeah,
an
effects.
honest
yeah, we're gonna pivot. I'm
conversation
gonna
that's
mute
based
everybody
crazy.
up,
on
man. I'm done. We're gonna pivot from this. I want to talk because this room is about Palestine, Israel. I want to pivot back to Palestine, Israel because this turned into something else. Um, by the way, what do you guys think about the title, Trump and Israel? Is it a love
Assalamu
story or
alaikum.
liability? Walaikum salam.
I think two narcissistic people, you could never have a love story there. They're always they're always going to try to one up each other and take advantage of each other. When you have two arrogant people, that's just how it is.
Yeah. By the way, Brian, none of the countries out there follow proper Sharia. They cherry picked certain things out of here and there. That's what they follow. I think you got to do your deep research, including Afghanistan. None of the countries out there follow proper Sharia.
Oh, he said
Uh,
Israel, not Netanyahu. I thought he said Netanyahu.
no, I said Israel and Trump.
Trump. No, I don't think Trump
So
has
if
any
none of
love
the
for Israel.
countries follow proper Sharia, how long do you think it's
Uh,
going to take until one country ends
uh,
up
it, it
following it?
it will not follow because we don't have a just leader, and it's not going to happen. The type of leaders we have, these disgusting animals, they're in bed with the Western, the world. So it's not going to happen anytime sooner.
If Sharia is always going to be tainted, why even
Uh,
have it at all?
it's not a
So it
Sharia.
doesn't have the power
Which
to.
country claims they have Sharia, man?
Yeah, we don't.
You just
Oh my
said that
God.
everywhere that Sharia is practiced, they're not even practicing it
I
right. So
said
that's
the
something that
cherry
you
pick
said.
shit. They're not practicing the full proper Sharia according to
That means they're
Islamic
practicing
law.
in
It's
an
not.
incomplete
It's not.
version.
Bro,
It's either
America
complete
cherry
or
picks
not.
things out of fucking Democrat system. They pick one law, they keep changing the fucking law. Where does the law come from? Bro, they cherry
What I'm
pick shit
saying
from
is that
different countries.
it's better
Just,
that the
just
law comes
bro,
if the law
just
comes
mute
from the
up, mute up,
Constitution.
mute up. We're
Listen,
done.
if
We're
the law
done.
comes from
We're
the
done. Oh my
Constitution,
God. Uh, we're done with we're done with the when you don't know it, don't know it. Go do your research, and then we
no, it's
can
not about research. It's just that you guys were
this room
lying.
this room is not about fucking religious. Okay,
To
thank you.
prove our lies, do research.
Yeah,
Yeah,
do your
but
research.
no, but I'm saying that okay. So my thing is that let's take the
Again, this guy
Constitution.
just
Wait, let's take the
yaps for no fucking
Constitution.
reason, man.
No, let me tell you why church and state is
Oh my
like
He's
it's.
God,
getting frustrated,
Let's take the
Amir.
Constitution
this
for
idiot, bro.
example.
This
If
room is not
we
about fucking constitution.
no,
Fuck
I
your
know, but let me
constitution.
just give you this example to
Oh my
just let you
God.
know. So if we disagree with something in the Constitution, like let's take the Second Amendment. A lot of people disagree with the Second Amendment. If we say that, you know what, the founding fathers, they made the Second Amendment in a time when machine guns weren't the same and shit. So let's change it. It can actually be amended and changed. But the thing with God's law is that God's law can never
Does
be
slavery
changed
exist according
because
to the
it's God's
Constitution?
law.
Does slavery exist according to
That's
the
the reason why
Constitution?
the
Does
separation between
slavery
church and
exist
state
according to the
is
Constitution, motherfucker? Does it
the
slavery exist?
no. What I'm saying is that the reason
Does
why
slavery
church and
exist according
state,
to the Constitution?
huh?
Does slavery exist according to the Constitution?
Yes. but
Oh,
it's
okay.
not God's law. But
Okay.
the thing is
Where
that
did
if it's
Wait, I
where
think
God's
did they
law,
get the
God's
then it will
law
slavery
never
was
from?
used.
change.
Christians used
Where did
that.
the slavery get? Where did they get the slavery from?
They just got slavery from
Oh, they
slavery.
just got it. Okay.
There was it was a
They
political justification,
justified it
not a divine,
through
a divine,
Christianity.
like, okay, so
It was
This
justified through
idiot, man.
you
Christianity.
Seriously.
know, it's justified by a political reason, which is a
Oh
lot
my
better than a
God.
divine reason, because if you have a divine reason, that means it's God's will and it
If
can never be changed.
but
If
it
you
was
have it as a
justified
political
by
reason, that means it can be
Christianity.
changed
Such an
if
idiot,
it's
man. Seriously.
wrong. That's my
Come
whole
On the
entire
back of a dollar
point.
bill, it says, "In
So
God
if
we
they if they
trust."
if they wrote the Constitution and
Is
it
it
never
separate? Is
changed,
it
we'd still have the
together?
same type of slavery that we've
Okay.
always had
Why
because
does
it
it
would have been
say?
God's will. That's my
Why does it say
point.
on the back of the dollar bill, "In God we trust"?
But that's not saying in God we trust and
Why?
having
Why did they
laws.
not fucking separate the two? Why is America still practiced as fucking God's law? Why is it practiced as? Why does it say,
There
"In
aren't
God we
any
trust"?
religious doctrines based in law.
Okay,
And
where
how
does
the
the
money is
slavery? Does the
printed, that
slavery
has
exist
nothing to do
according
with
to
the
the
legal
Constitution?
framework of
Does slavery exist according?
how money is
Bro, this
printed
idiot doesn't
has
fucking
nothing to
shut up.
do with the legal framework
Does
of the United
slavery exist
States.
according to
on.
the
Oh my God.
Constitution?
Yes,
Fuck. Okay, where does it come from?
it comes from man.
It comes from your fucking religion, bitch.
What religion?
Oh, what religion? Oh my
Slavery doesn't
God.
come from any religion. The
Oh
slavery in the United
God.
It
States
was
just came from political
justified
means, and
using
that's why it
Christianity.
changed. Yeah, I'm saying my thing is that
This
if
idiot,
they
man.
create a
Seriously.
rule because it's based in politics, it can change.
But
If you
your
have
civil
rules that
laws
are
in
based
America,
in the
most of the
divine
civil
law, they
laws are
can't
based on
change because we
Christianity,
believe that that's God's
Christian
word. Why would
principles.
God's word ever change? It's perfect. So
Most
if let's say
most of our laws, our
if the
civil laws, are
Constitution was a
based on
divine
Christian
document, that means we'd
principles.
still have
It's
Jim Crow slavery today.
we don't
Now
have
we
it.
only have slavery if you get convicted of a crime.
We don't
But
have it.
but
We
the
don't have
thing
it
is that
now, not
the thing
because
with
there was
Islam,
some
I know
enlightenment.
about y'all's religions. I've spoken with the Hafiz. I know
No,
about
you
y'all niggas.
don't. You don't. You
I know
don't.
You
about
don't
y'all
know
niggas.
shit about
You
the
The,
religion,
don't.
no,
bro.
the
You
Just
reason
don't.
why
nah.
Muslims love Islam so much is because it never changes. It's better than
It
Christianity.
doesn't
It's better than
change,
Judaism
but
because it
it
never
we do
changes. If
evolve.
you apply that to a government, that can't fucking work.
We
That's
actually
my
we can
point.
apply
And
Islam
slavery works in your
everywhere in
religion,
any
right?
time
American
period, and
constitutional.
it
Islam has
works.
slaves. You guys have
Yeah,
slaves
We
too.
don't
slavery.
have slaves.
You
Yeah.
guys
Where
have
where are my
slaves
Oh my
too,
slaves?
but
God,
Where?
God
this
gives you the right
idiot.
to have slaves. That's the only
No.
difference.
NPC.
No, it
NPC.
God
doesn't.
gives you the right to have
God
slaves. That's the
says
only difference.
the
White
best
people got rid of
reward is
slavery
to
before you guys
release a
did. Don't even
slave.
talk. You guys have slavery in Africa right now. Don't even
No,
talk to
we
me,
Yeah,
English.
yeah,
wait.
yeah.
Islam
Don't
actually
even talk to me.
helped.
You guys have
Yeah,
slavery
yeah.
in Africa right now. You guys have
We
slavery
How
right
do you
actually
now.
know
we
it's
Right now, Muslims
Africa?
have slavery in Africa right now.
How do you know it's
Stop it.
Muslim and not African?
Sene ya
Stop
Edward.
it.
And
Sene
How do you
Sene.
NPC,
know?
didn't your people sell your own
My
people to
God.
the Europeans?
What does that have to do with the idea that
Did your
if we have a
people?
rule, if we have a bad rule,
This
it's
was
not God's law. It's just a
ladies
bad
and
rule that some dude
gentlemen,
made. If you guys
ladies
have a
and
bad rule,
gentlemen, where NPC comes from Nigeria, they sold their own people to the white Europeans. Can you guys believe it? This is the disgusting thing that his own people did, and yet he comes up here with the high, he's taking a high moral ground on this bullshit. I would suggest you, NPC, before you open your mouth in this room, you're gonna get fucked in the ass, but intellectually, not in real life, but intellectually in this
they're
room.
gonna cut your dick off for that. Come on.
No, 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 no. It's the Zionists. They're into chopping the dick, hairy balls. They're all into it. The Zionists always want to touch my hairy balls.
The only listen,
Amir.
I know it's gotten heated. The only thing that I'm saying, you guys have fought the good fight. The only thing I'm saying is that when you
Fuck the
have
good fight. This guy doesn't want to
when you have
stop.
a rule based system, listen, when you have a rule based system that's based on a divine law, that means it can never change, and that's one of the tenets of Islam, and
It's it's
that's why you
actually
guys
not
keep telling me to
heated.
research
NPC.
because
NPC.
I know how
I
you
get
guys work, and what
I
I'm
get it.
saying is
Wait,
that
He knows
no,
how to
no,
the
work.
you
only
don't.
problem
You
with
don't.
having
You
a
don't.
perfect law is that the person who's enforcing it always has a spiritual high ground.
No, I mean you literally like a few seconds ago you made one of the dumbest comments that I've ever heard in my life. Yeah, you said the reason you Muslims love Islam is because it never changes. Now, who the fuck
Yes,
would want a religion that changes the word of God? We have one book. It's the same book ever since it existed.
I never
We
said it
don't
was a
have
bad thing.
500. Yeah, I mean, sure, sure, but
No, no, Abu. But
but
what did I?
yeah,
What
no, no, no.
you
But
said it
here,
was dumb? But was
I'll tell
I?
you, I'll tell
You?
you. Wait, one
It
second. Let me
wasn't a
finish, man.
criticism. I'm saying
Okay,
that
okay,
that
okay. Sure.
I'm saying no. But was okay. My thing is that you guys tell me to do my research. I say
So use
something that's true and you think it's an insult.
no no
It's
no. So
not an
use
insult for it
so
to never
use
change. I'm saying
so
that that
use this. So
feature
use this.
can be a flaw depending on what you're
Sure,
trying to
sure, man.
achieve.
Listen, let me just tell you one thing. So use it the next time you wanna make a statement like that. Just say the reason Muslims love Islam and the Quran is because the word of God never changed compared to all the other religions.
That's what I
Another thing,
said.
and another thing, NPC. The
That's what I
difference is
said.
the
Isn't that what
difference
I
between
said?
one second, NPC. The
All
difference
right.
between us and you, yeah, is that if you are to bring me your book right now and ask me to read it and look into it, I will be more than happy to do that, and I will have no issues doing that. But if I am to come and give you the Quran and ask you to go
I
read
can't
it
read
and
Arabic.
look into it, even if you wanted to look into translations and then maybe seek further explanation
It's
from
best to
somebody
read
who's
it
an
in
expert,
Arabic.
you would
I
not do
understand
it.
enough about
You
Islam. I
would
almost
you would
converted, by the
you would
way,
not
so
do
you
it.
guys don't even know
Yeah.
me.
Yeah,
But like
you almost converted.
every
Yet
single time I say
you
something, you guys get super
man, you
defensive.
no no
I
you
literally said the
no
same thing that you're
you
saying right now. It's
man, listen,
crazy.
NPC, you got defensive when I asked you to define Sharia law and whether or not you
No,
invested
I didn't
and
get
look. Yes,
defensive because it
yes,
wasn't a
you
real
did. Yes, you
question.
did.
I didn't get
Anyways,
defensive because I answered the
anyways,
question, and every single time I answered the
seek,
question, you told me it's not good enough. And then when you
seek
find out
knowledge,
that what I was talking about isn't crazy, you just moved
NPC.
on to something else.
Just seek
You're
knowledge.
just being
Seek knowledge.
disingenuous.
Seek knowledge, man. Seek knowledge.
I have the knowledge, obviously, because the
Seek
same thing that
knowledge.
I'm saying
Seek
is the
it.
same thing
No,
that you're saying.
seek
You
The
knowledge.
same
said
thing
you
I'm
don't
saying is
know
the same
what
thing that you're saying.
Sharia law is.
Okay, all right,
You
we're
didn't
gonna
look
pivot
into it.
now. Thank you. So going back to Palestine and Israel, right? Now the title says Trump and Israel love story or liability. I think it is a love story. I think Trump wants to. Trump is either I think Israel is a prostitute or Trump is a prostitute for Israel. Which one is it? I
I
think it's
don't think
probably.
Trump cares more. I think Trump cares about Trump and making money. And if Israel gets in the way, then it's a problem.
Yeah. And then guess what? Netanyahu's approached Modi to recognize Somaliland. Isn't that something? He wants India to recognize Somaliland as a
Who
nation.
wants who?
The Modi, the from India, that minister, the leader
Yeah,
from India.
yeah.
He wants Modi to recognize Somaliland as a country.
Wow. Well, that's uh, that's still far from actually being a country and actually being treated as a country because the Middle Eastern countries right now uh, are against it. So, what good is it if they won't recognize you as a country? And the funny thing is, the all the countries in the area, including not by the way, not just the Arab countries, most of the African Union itself is against Somaliland being a nation. But what they're not against, and what everybody has been doing, is treating Somaliland separately by doing business with them and signing agreements with them. Just not to to actually secede from Somalia. And the African nations don't want this because it would set a precedent for other nations to also do it. But Somaliland was, doing business almost as a nation up to this point. But now, what's going to happen? I think a lot of nations are going to start ignoring them and purposely not do business with them. So it wasn't in their best interest. That's my opinion, at least.
Yeah, and then in the Negev area of Israel, there's a lot of Arab folks. They're killing their own people. In the last week, they killed about 11 inside Israel. Netanyahu went over there and he did. He said he's gonna, ramp up. I don't know why these areas are underfunded. Like, why doesn't he just, fund those areas and
It's
make
not
sure
it's
that
not
it's
just
a,
Negev. There's some areas in Israel too that as far as I'm concerned, just like here in the U.S., they're designed to become ghettos. I think Israel took a page out of the U.S. system and wanted Arabs in Israel weaker or weakened, so they laid the groundwork for allowing towns and villages in Israel in certain areas to become you know uh, gangs, drug infested, you know, places that you don't want to walk down the street, you'll get robbed type of places. Um, but I think, you know, that's by design. And the Negev is the only difference there is you have the same thing, but they consider, like, I don't know, I would say half or most, I don't know the numbers of the homes in the Negev by the what are they called? They're not Arabs. They're what? Druze.
Jews.
Druze. Yeah, the Druze. They consider, you know, they don't have permits for those homes, so they come in and start destroying homes, and then they force them to have no opportunities, no nothing. And what do? The only opportunity that they really have is to join the IDF, and that's what they do. So I think it's all by design. Why wouldn't you allow villages to grow in the Negev? It's not like there's a land you know, shortage issue in the desert. You know, they do it on purpose. And what did Jindab say? Over 500 homes in 2025 were
Yep.
destroyed. Yeah, 500.
That's the crazy part. These people are just. And then I think. What else was it? What else did I share? I spoke about that. The India thing. And then there's a cop who fatally shot Bedouin men to be questioned again over new footage. He just shot Bedouin men. Bedouin is like Arab. And
Yeah.
what else do we have? Oh yeah, and then there's a collapse of the rehab defense ministry, rehab services for wounded soldiers. There's a lot of these soldiers. They're going through all this, rehab and whatever. I think they should just give it up, man. I don't know what they're fighting for.
Bro, you guys heard about the ICE that shot a woman in the head, and I don't know if they killed her.
They killed her?
No,
Yeah, I don't know if she's
I
dead
didn't
or
hear
not. They
about
shot
this.
her in the head. Minneapolis, I
If you're
think,
talking about the
is the area.
37-year-old one, yes, she was.
This happened today, Taco, right?
I
Why?
I just saw a headline about it. I didn't. I don't know if it was today or yesterday. But then
I think.
protesters. There's a protester. This black guy. They got shot in the face with like a.
Oh, that was with like the colored smoke or something like that. Yeah.
It was some orange. Yeah, it called it
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
some
yeah. I
chemical
literally just
substance. Yeah.
yeah, I just saw that one. But there's another one. I think a lady was protesting them going into her neighborhood. She was in the car, and then she tried to drive off, and they shot her in the face. And now like I'm looking at another video in Minneapolis. They're burning the American flag, and they're not Muslims. They're not Hamas. They're not foreigners. They're not illegal immigrants. They're Americans that are doing this.
And I think they're
Yeah.
trying to get what's his name in Minnesota. That mayor, was it the mayor or the governor that had a lot of progressive
You're
policies?
talking about Tim Walz, the guy who ran for
Yes,
vice president.
yes. And now they're saying that he is involved in corruption.
Yeah, he's already said he's not running for another term, so I suspect that's linked. I'm not saying he's doing anything wrong, but I suspect he knows that there's enough mud, and unfortunately, whether it's true or not, mud sticks.
And they want to deploy. What was the name of like anybody here speaks Arabic? Al Haras al Watani. Like what is that in English?
National Guard.
Yeah, they want to deploy National Guards in Minneapolis.
That doesn't surprise me. They've already got them in Washington. They've got them in a few other places, and they're trying to get them
That's
in other cities as well.
yeah.
I think San
And
Francisco was one of them they were trying to get National Guard into. I don't know if they ever did it, but
you know the thing is with law enforcement, to be specific, like in the U.S., if something is to happen, like they shoot someone or an accident or something like that, they will all run to them, like they'll run to the victim immediately to help. But in this case, where the shooting happened, the car kind of just drove off, and it took them a few seconds to even think about going to that person and helping them.
Wow, it's getting.
Yeah.
It's yeah. This is what happens when you release men with ski masks and guns. You know, where they're anonymous.
The problem is, I'm sure I don't like to umbrella everybody, because I'm sure there are people who work for ICE who, in general, on their own, having a barbecue in their back garden with their wife and kids on a Saturday, are perfectly nice people. But that's not how groupthink works. When you dress people like paramilitaries, you put ski masks on them, you give them automatic weapons, and you give them all that power. People act differently. It's how dictatorships happen all over the world.
The hiding their faces is a big one for me, because I think that's a tipping point. This is what uh, the IDF and border police in Israel when dealing with the Palestinians. I don't know if they still paint their faces, but you know, they were painting their faces so no one recognizes who they are when they go in and do something.
I think that's a very dangerous precedent. I think if you were
Yeah,
wearing a uniform, there should be a standard of behavior for whatever that uniform is, whether it's IDF, whether it's American
we
law
should know who you
enforcement.
are.
Yes, and you should. Now, there is an argument to say you could be targeted or whatever. So, okay, worst case scenario, if they must cover their faces up, they must have an identification number, or so people can identify them back to not just a guy dressed in military fatigues with
Exactly,
a ski mask on.
and
There
a
must be
camera.
some way.
We,
Yes,
you know, I believe in camera body cams.
I would give them two things. I would give them a body cam, and I would also give them a gun cam as well, so we can see exactly where they're pointing their weapon at all times. If there is anything goes down, they can't say we were shooting above people's
Oh, that's
heads
a
if the
good.
guns are pointed at people's chests.
That's a good idea.
I
Yeah.
fundamentally believe that.
So isn't body cam applied all across the U.S. or is it some
No,
state?
no, it is mostly across the U.S. now. I don't know if it's a law or not, but this is for the police.
State by state, isn't
ICE
it?
is not involved. You know, I don't think there's any requirement for ICE.
Well, ICE doesn't record what they do there. Like they don't have somebody.
ICE is not a police force.
I know, but in general, they don't record what they do.
I don't know. I mean,
I wouldn't.
I've never dealt with ICE before, so I have no idea.
I wouldn't think so. I would be very, very surprised if they do.
Yeah, it's you know, it's a new concept here, so it's not. ICE has been around, but used this way, you know, is new. So, you know, I would say 99% of the population wouldn't have that answer. Um, unless there was a regulation put up somewhere, I could check GPT, which I'll do. But they're not held to the same standards as police are.
Yeah, that's fair. I was thinking maybe some law enforcement or when they have those missions, they kind of do record them. But I guess
I'm not that they're under law enforcement though.
well, whatever, like government, whatever.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a gray zone. They're acting like you know, like law enforcement.
So ICE doesn't fall under law enforcement.
No, I think police and FBI would fall under. I'll ask GPT, but ICE is like border patrol, border security, you know, that type of thing. Um, you know, and when they arrest somebody, they take them to you know, immigration court, which is not the same as regular court. So I don't know if they fall under law enforcement.
I suspect they fall under whatever rules the border. So the same people who stop you at airports and on the land borders and stuff. But I suspect when they're operating within American cities, they must have to broadly act within law enforcement guidelines. But I suspect it's going to be slightly different. Although I have to say, I'm guessing. I don't know any of this.
Edward will get us the answer in like the next 30 seconds.
Cool.
He's a chat GPT expert.
I love ChatGPT. It solves so many arguments.
Hey
I think.
Brian, welcome, Steve.
Hey,
How you guys doing today? Hey, Brian's asking me. You seem like a very passionate defender of Islam. Are you a Jew or a Christian?
Well, you said you don't represent Muslims, so
Yeah,
I'm
I'm not.
confused.
I'm not a good Muslim. You heard of a good Muslim, bad Muslim, and disgusting Muslim? I might be somewhere in the middle. I already bought the ticket to hell. You see what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
And in this space, I do offer limited freedom of speech, so it does get heated. We both get cursed each other. People do curse in this space, so you know. You can give me advice not to use it. I'll try my best, but yeah, it just happens, man.
No, you're an adult. You do whatever you want. I do have a question though. Um, one of the things, one of the things that I have serious concerns about is the um, practice of using hospitals as camps of military operations, which
hmm
invites missile attacks and innocent deaths. So help me make sense of that.
So Israel used it. I don't know if you remember during the 12-day war. They used, I think it was underground the hospital. So do you have a problem with that?
Yeah,
Edward,
it's
are you
immoral.
there? Do you remember, Edward? We talked about this, right? It was under a hospital. So they weren't really shooting a hospital. They were shooting that underground facility where, the IDF military, I think it was IDF or Mossad military base was, Mossad base.
No, 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 no. It wasn't underground. It was a building across of that hospital.
It was a building across, but they were doing it underground, right? They were building it,
I,
operating.
I, I honestly don't know about the underground part, but the building that they were targeting, the Israelis had it literally right across of the hospital. So when they attacked it, like yeah, some of the damages happened to the hospital. I don't know if
Right,
this is
right.
the one that you're making reference to.
I'll have to look into it because Edward talked about this, right? I remember Edward talking about it, and they weren't really hitting the hospital, but they were hitting this facility, and it's like right across the street from the
Yeah,
Iran?
yeah, yeah,
hospital.
yeah, yeah. It is the one. So the hospital
Edward,
wasn't hit. Yeah.
do you remember
Yeah.
during the 12-day you mentioned something about Mossad operating right, Mossad or IDF operating right next to like the hospital? Do you remember that?
Yes, and the missile, whatever, the missile did not hit the hospital because it hit the building next to it, and the people were evacuated into the basement before the missile hit. So they obviously got warning beforehand that that was going to be hit, or they knew, or they suspected that Iran would have the intelligence information to understand that this building is a legitimate target based on the other targets that they hit in Israel at the time. But they did
Is
move those patients down to the basement before
Brian, would you
is
the
call
this
day
what you're
the
yourself a
night
making
before.
reference
Zionist?
to, Brian? Is this what you're making reference to?
Brian, would you call yourself a Zionist?
No, I'm an atheist. I don't really give a shit about Israel,
Okay,
one way
good,
or
good.
the
You're on the
other.
right side of history. If you don't give a shit about Israel, then it's a good position to
He
hold.
doesn't support the Allah Akbars either.
No, I know. I didn't say
NPC.
that's a
So,
good sign. I mean, he doesn't. He's an atheist. He doesn't believe in religion.
so now you're gonna take. I thought you were a little bit reasonable, NPC, but when you
What
mention
about what? Can we say Jesus Christ is the King? Can we say that? Is that okay with you, NPC?
No, I don't care.
You don't care, so you don't believe Jesus Christ is God?
I mean, I believe his God.
Okay, so if somebody was to, when they're shooting, and if they say Jesus Christ is the King and shoot, would you have a problem with that?
Yes.
Okay, in America, there's been multiple cases at the those abortion clinic. There's a lot of them that have been attacked with the Christian supremacy. You should look into it. Ask ChatGPT how many attacks were influenced by Christianity in America, and all over the world. There was even an attack, I believe it was in New Zealand. It was a massacre, right? And it's all has to do with Christian supremacy. You should look into it. I look again, NPC. I'm going to give you one piece of advice. Look into your own deep, dark history and what the Christians and how people have massacred in the name of Christianity in the past, and it's still ongoing, before you open up your mouth and point fingers at other people's religion. It's a good advice. Just take it. Take the advice.
And Allahu Akbar. I mean, you have a problem with people saying God is great?
God
Do
is
you
great. That's what it means.
do you even
Isn't
know? Do you
isn't
even know what Muslim means? NPC, just for kind of
No, I thought Islam meant submission under God.
Islam meant submission under God.
Yeah, I thought that's what
No,
Islam meant.
What does
to
Muslim mean?
God. Submit to God. Yeah, what does Muslim mean?
Seek
No
knowledge,
answer.
NPC. Seek knowledge, man.
Yeah, find out what the prefix mu
He's
means
using
at the beginning
perplexity to look
of
it up
the
right
word.
now. 20
Wallah, he
seconds.
doesn't
It'll
know.
take 10
Wallah, I
seconds.
Yeah.
swear,
Dude,
I
I'm
swear to
eating a
man,
sandwich. I'm not even cooking.
man,
What
I
I'm
swear
eating,
you
that.
should
I'm eating a
look
sandwich and
up
I'm
what
barely
mu
doing a
means. When you
sandwich.
put mu at the beginning of a word, what does it
So,
do to
so
it?
I want to focus on what Brian said, because this room is about Palestine, Israel. NPC wants to, bring. I think he wants attention. NPC will give you attention in a bit, right? I
And
heard you
he's
gave
eating
you
a
attention
ham
for 30 minutes,
sandwich.
and you're
I bet.
eating a sandwich which
Disgusting.
is non-kosher,
Yep.
non-halal. I can't give you attention. Okay. It wasn't cut according to the divine's law, right? According to Jesus Christ, right? It,
Slaughtered,
it wasn't cut
slaughtered.
in the, yeah, it wasn't slaughtered in the name of God. So I can't do that. I can't take that right. Go on, Brian. What's your take on this Israel Palestine? Do you want to chime in, maybe, so we can explore your position, see what your take is on this whole? Are you an American, Brian, or you're from from the UK?
I'm American. I know it's not going to happen anytime soon. I would like to see them get along, stop killing each other over religious differences. So whether it's Christians killing Muslims or Muslims killing Jews, whatever. I think it's silly, but I would like to see them get along. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. Not as long as, I mean, this is my limited understanding that madrasas teach, um, strict interpretations of hatred for Jews and non-Muslims. So, I think until that ends, the Muslims are going to be persecuted and they're going to be resisted and they're going to be, um, fought.
So Muslims are being trained at madrasas to hate the Jews and to kill the Jews and kill non-Muslims. Is that the claim you're making, Brian?
Yeah. Is that accurate?
How how did he
It's
jump
not
from
accurate.
hospitals to talking
Yeah,
about
it's
Muslims?
it's not accurate.
It's
And this
not
right here,
accurate. Okay.
Brian,
So it's,
Brian,
so
this right
madrasas
here.
don't teach hatred of Jews.
No, because in the book it
Hmm.
literally
Okay.
mentions some of the Jews that killed multiple prophets and they have spread corruption on the land and they broke the covenant with God. Same thing it says in the Old Testament by in the Torah. Their scripture, what the Jews follow. We have similar understanding on the verses in our book as well, in my book as well, that talks about the Jews. Some of the Jews, not all of them, they committed, and they're still spreading corruption. Look at what they're doing. They're killing innocent children. More than
Amir,
20,000 children dead.
I think we need to. It sounds like Brian is misinformed. No offense, Brian,
Yeah,
about
he's misinformed.
why we are fighting.
Yeah,
Why
it's
Palestinians
not
are
a
fighting.
Muslim
It's not
Christian issue.
religion,
Yeah, it's not a religion issue.
and I think that, and this is like I said, no offense to Brian, but here in America, up until the last couple of years, this is what everybody thought, that Palestinians are attacking Jews because they're Jews, and that's not true. But we can explore that if you're wanting
Yeah,
to
it
Brian,
seems to
understand.
go against everything I've
are
heard. I
you
mean, my understanding is
Brian?
that
Brian, let me ask you this: are you under the impression that Islam teaches Muslims to hate and kill Jews?
absolutely.
Have you looked it up yourself?
Yeah, several years ago, I did some research. That's where I saw some videos, some articles, some documentaries on the madrasas. Um, I have done research years ago, and I haven't really heard or seen anything to dissuade me from that. But if you have something that clearly disputes that, I'm open to it.
Yeah, actually, the second surah or chapter in the Quran is Surah Al-Baqarah, which is, one of the main surahs that talks extensively, not about the Jews, but about we call them Bani Israel, which is in English, children of Israel. And it doesn't teach us to hate or kill or attack the children of Israel. It simply tells us their story, and God asks us to use their story as a warning for his punishment if we are to do the same thing. It doesn't say anything about killing, attacking, being aggressive, or anything like that. It's called Surah Al-Baqarah. You can look it up yourself. It's the most chapter in the Quran that has the word or the term children of Israel, if I'm not wrong. And like I said, it's simply their story, and we're being warned of their actions. Now, I don't know what videos you looked at or where did you hear that this is what Islam teaches us, but it's completely wrong.
So then why does it continually happen for thousands of years?
Now,
Um,
are you gonna talk about it in terms of religion now, or do you want to talk about what's happening in Palestine?
thousands of years. Islam is 1400 years old.
Okay, well, since then.
But Brian,
But
did you hear me say earlier to NPC that Islam is not is a decentralized religion? So when you say the madrasas, which is a school, they're not all going to be the same. We have multiple schools of thought, and just because you have a school that teaches Islam, it doesn't mean that there's a universal system to teach, Islam,
here,
radical, something
here,
that should be taught.
Here, I'll make it easier for you, Brian. If you ever want to go after a Muslim and say that you guys believe in this or you guys do this and do that, you have to simply pull it up from either the Quran or pull it out from the Hadiths. And just keep in mind that we do not believe or accept all the Hadiths. Some of them are weak, and some of them we reject and we don't follow. I'm
and and
saying that you.
and we tag them as weak.
Yeah, saying that you watch documentaries, you've seen schools, you've seen a few individuals saying this, saying that, is actually a weak way to kind of address something when it comes to Islam.
Yeah, it's not like Catholicism where you have Catholic schools and they have to abide by certain protocols or procedures. It's not like that. You could have a madrasa set up. Anybody, that has the knowledge could set one up, a school.
I,
Um,
I I do have a question for you though, Brian. Just out of curiosity, do you mind?
Sure.
Now, have you looked into Judaism and see what Judaism says about the non-Jews?
Um, not not to the degree that I have with Islam. Um, I mean, no. I just remember seeing videos of children chanting, kill the Jews. One kid, it's like, I don't know, 5, 6 years old with a knife stabbing, this caricature or doll that was dressed up as a Jewish person. I mean, it was just continually horrible,
do
evil.
you remember where?
Brian, could you provide me that video, please?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I'm driving right now, but I'll stop here in a few minutes and
No,
I'll
no, no, no,
see
it's
if
no
I can find
problem.
it. Yeah.
Carry on driving. Whenever you have some time, or whenever you get to your destination, just send me the video when you get some time.
And do you
Because
recall
I think it's
where?
vital that we look into the video and understand, as in what is going on. Because sometimes we can come across videos that are made to seem a certain way when they're not truly. So it's prudent to actually look into the video and uh, get some evidence of these claims that are being made.
Yeah. Agreed.
I think we should explore the Israeli thing because I want to move away from the religion because this room is not about religion. People keep bringing religion into the picture.
Amir, the best way to address anybody that comes in with an attack on Islam and Muslims is to simply ask them to bring it from the Quran or Hadith. Anything other than that is dismissed. Because for us Muslims, we follow two things, according to Sunnis. It's the Quran the Prophet, and the Hadith that comes with it.
Absolutely.
So I don't
Do
I
you
don't know
think?
like how.
Do you guys think that there will ultimately be a two-state solution?
No,
Is it
So
ever going to
I
be
look,
possible?
personally no.
Brian.
I personally don't believe.
So Palestinians, they all think differently. I mean, Edward is a Palestinian, right? Edward believes in two-state solution.
Yeah.
Edward, you can correct
So
me.
Abu is a Palestinian, and I'm a Palestinian. We're both Muslims, and I think yes. So again, decentralized, and I'm not any less or more of a Muslim than he is.
What
It
would it
doesn't work that
take?
way.
Because my understanding, the offer has been on the table. I want to say 4 or 5 times over the past several decades, right? Since
It hasn't,
you know,
unfortunately, Bryant. When you look at the claims, when
really,
this,
never.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've looked
Huh.
time and time again, this claim being made that there was a Palestinian state offered to the Palestinians. Even Israeli government ministers admit on record that anything that was offered is not a viable Palestinian sovereign state. They would have rejected it themselves. When
Hmm.
there's no sovereignty, how can it be a state?
So
We can
Brian,
address these points individually.
look, they all the deals were offered, right? Or were given, whatever. They were missing sovereignty, full sovereignty, and they were missing right of return. The 700,000. This is how state was established by ethnically cleansing Palestinians. Some of them they left out of fear. Some of them were told they'll be allowed back. And that's how this state of Israel was established in the first place, right? Um, now the offers that were put on table, they were all missing the right of return, and that was a big problem for all of these offers. The right of return, it was 700,000 back then. Now it's about 7 million, 7 to 8 million people. You see what I'm saying? And Israel, it's run on Jewish supremacy. If they allow Palestinians back into Israel, right? Because if Palestinians have deeds and paperwork and keys to their properties and whatnot, if they allow them into Israel, they would have to give them Israeli passport, citizen, and they're going to, they're going to have a demographics problem, which means it would no longer be a Jewish state. You see what I'm saying? So it's built on, it's running on Jewish supremacy. Even inside Arabs that live inside Israel, Arab Muslims and Arab Christians, and I don't know if you know, there's Arab Jews as well, by the way. Israel coined the term Mizrahi to derail the whole, the Arab Jews, to differentiate between the Arab Jews and the Palestinian Arabs. You see what I'm saying? They're fucking conniving as fuck. That's what Israel did. Now, so if you look at all of these factors, that's where the problem is. In 2018, they passed a law. Self-determination is exclusively and unique to the Jewish people, which was established in 2018. So I don't know. What do you think about all of this? The right of return is always missing from the deals.
Is there enough room for all those people?
I don't know, Edward. Do you want to take that question? Edward, are you there? I
Yeah, I'm here. No, absolutely. There's enough room. There's enough. There's actually. Um, it's funny because like here in America, there's enough room for all Americans to live in just the state of Texas alone, we're almost 400 million people. So the land issue is not the problem. The problem is Israel doesn't recognize Palestinians with any rights, either rights under Israel or rights, outside of Israel, meaning either recognizing Palestinians as a separate people and able to form their own country, or if they don't want to do that, then recognizing Palestinians as Israelis and giving them full citizenship. Um, just the ones that where they live now in the West Bank, they don't have to move. But Amir is right. There's also those that have homes that are still standing, by the way, in Israel, that they're empty, and they want to be able to go back to those homes and cannot. So it's not a matter of land. And yes, I mean you could actually fit all of Israel into the West Bank with the Palestinians and still have room left over, or you could do vice versa. So land is never the issue, or room on on the land is never an issue.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that there have been offers, but none of them were deemed legitimate by the Palestinians because they did not offer the right of return and um, give rights to the displaced Palestinians. Is that accurate?
Not just that, Brian. I think the answer to your question is far more nuanced. To have a discussion in 5 minutes, we can individually go over all the claimed offers from 1949 or
The
1947 or
conditions
what.
of these offers, the
Yeah,
conditions.
it's all basically they were the main tenant was sovereignty. There was no Palestinian state offered with sovereignty, amongst other things.
My understanding is, and my understanding is quite limited, but my understanding is one of the closest what the Israelis would say was a legit offer was Camp David. One of the big problems with Camp David, aside from the no right to return, etc., was if you imagine your country being split up into three cities, you've got interconnecting roads from city to city, so you can go from each individual part of your country, but another country controls those corridors, those roads, and you may have to pay or go through checkpoints. You shouldn't have to go through another country's checkpoints to go from one part of your country to another part of your country. I can understand why no one would accept that.
So, Steve, just going actually on your point with regards to Camp David. Now, if that was the closest offer to a state for Palestine, I've got the points exactly in front of me. It essentially says the country, Palestine, would have no control of its borders, airspace, no control of its electromagnetic spectrum. There would be Israeli military presence inside the territory.
Yeah,
West Bank would be divided into cantons, so like Swiss cheese. There would be annexation of major settlement blocks, so what they already have. And on top of that, Jerusalem's sovereignty heavily would be restricted.
And
yeah,
Then
that's
Palestinian state
additionally,
would
absolutely
be
correct.
there is
Palestinian state would be demilitarized. Yeah, John.
and on top of that, demilitarized, yes. So even if you look into the Israeli historian Avi Schleim, he claims that this claim of generosity is a myth. It's a smokescreen. And this is one of the most, this was the offer that people are claiming that it was the closest to a Palestinian state. Now imagine all the other offers that were supposedly made.
Yeah, I don't know the details of the other offers. I just know that it's widely thought that Camp David was the most viable offer. And when I've looked into what the actual offer was, I can only speak for myself. I certainly wouldn't have taken it.
So I've got a claim from a US negotiator, Dennis Ross, if you can look that up when you have time, Brian. He essentially said that the Palestinians were being asked to accept a state that didn't feel at all like a state with regards to what the conditions were.
Hey, what's up,
Um,
everybody in the audience? If you guys want to come up, you're welcome. Come on up.
don't forget, Brian, to send the video when you can.
Yeah, if you get when you arrive at the destination, But yep, there's a lot of problems with all of these deals. Like there's the sovereignty issues, there was Jerusalem issues.
Well, there wasn't
Who
actually any sovereignty. I mean, we not our airspace, not our ports, not our airport. Everything would have been controlled by Israel. There would have been Israelis there present. Uh, Entrance in and out of our country was all controlled by Israel.
Yeah,
These are
with these very points, Edward, we're not actually moving towards a state. When
mm-mm,
everything is already controlled, it's exactly the same as it is.
exactly. We're moving to what we have now.
Yeah, we're not moving at all, actually. It's just being repackaged.
That's true.
But if you continuously repackage something, sell it publicly as a new offer each and every time, you can then point to the people who keep saying no to the same thing essentially and go, well,
Exactly.
look,
It's a
I'm
manipulation.
trying. Yeah, it's effectively gaslighting. It is, and I'm not against the right of any country to exist, including Israel. By the way, I don't have skin in the game.
It's
Um,
actually a smoke for the state. They're terrorists. They keep fighting us, but they keep quietly. They keep submitting land. They keep not submitting. Sorry, they keep taking more territory, killing more people. And the Western world, we don't get the exposure of what is actually going on in in Palestine, as in what is happening to the everyday Palestinian when their water is restricted, their rights to movement are restricted, their basic human rights are restricted.
what
What they
I've
can do with their own land, they can't build. Israel is basically choking them, and it's choking them without showing the world what it's doing. The only reason the world has woken up is Gaza has been documenting their own genocide and posting it online. That's how we've been exposed to it. This has been going on for 70, 80 years. This has
what
not been
I've
going on for 2 years.
Robot check. Wow, all
Now,
he does is talks
can I
himself.
just add a quick
He's a
thing?
parrot.
Not to what's being said, but Iran just shut down their flights for the next 24 hours. I couldn't
Have they?
open what Rolf posted in the chat, but maybe it's connected to it.
Let me have a look.
Is that
So it
closed
could
down
be
their entire airspace, or just closed down what flights coming in and out of the airport?
Tehran, from Tehran airport.
Interesting.
And Israel just posted or that they announced something as in Iran is fully recovered when it comes to their defense system, and they can't allow that.
What the
I
Israelis will try and do is they're going to look at a window of opportunity where they can strike without being hit back as hard.
No, I think
And I
they're
think
gonna
that
like.
window gets smaller the more days they go along.
I think what they might do is that they're gonna try to feed the public that they're gonna attack Lebanon, and then they're gonna, and then
Maybe anything's
the real
possible
attack
these
is,
days.
yeah, the real attack is gonna be Iran.
I think Israel. I don't. Right. Don't take what I'm about to say now as me endorsing something. I've got a tactical mind in some ways. If I was Israeli, and if I was planning this kind of thing, I would not be firing a single missile. I would not be sending a single drone. I would be using Mossad, and I would be smoking these protests more and more and more in the hope, and it sounds horrible to say this, but in the hope that the Iranians wind up shooting live rounds into protesters, and then I would basically step back and allow the
That
Americans
is
to do
what is
my dirty
Mossad's
work.
doing, Steve.
I don't doubt it for a second. I don't doubt it for a single. I've said from day one, and again, I don't have skin in the game. I look at this from a neutral observer, as much as you can when people are losing their lives. You know, I don't have skin in the game, but I have emotions. Um, I I have no doubt in my mind that there are Mossad agents who are stirring things. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and say Iran are some teddy bear government who love their people, and I don't buy that for a microsecond. There's too many people from Iran who I've spoken to personally who have told me what life can be like under that regime. But that doesn't give another country the right to stir up trouble within the borders of another sovereign country. You still don't have that right.
You know the funny thing, Steve, is whenever I listen to most people that despise the Islamic revolutionary system or guards or government, most of these people do not want to replace that government with a democratic system. They actually want to replace it with a monarchy, which was, if we go historically, I mean, it's a shame Nargis isn't in here. She doesn't like the Islamic government, but she knows what goes on the ground, as in she's not a fan of the monarchy either, because the monarchy was brutal historically. They had a secret police force that was brutalizing the Iranian people. The only problem, the only people that tend to support the monarchy are the diaspora. They live outside the country, most of them.
I'm not. Listen, I'm not defending the previous
But I'm not
Iranian
Iranian, so
regime.
I don't know most of it. I just obviously look at what people tell me in my own research.
Yeah, I'm the same. And from my understanding is there was a reason why there was a revolution in Iran in the first place. Now, the regime that is now in charge are not a good regime. However, I would be surprised if the people within Iran, the average civilians, who if something does happen with this regime, would be the ones who were on the ground. I would be very surprised if they wanted to replace this regime with any other form of authoritarian regime.
See,
I
I
can't
think
speak on
one
it
thing I
because I'll
find.
get in trouble.
Sorry, Steve. Just while we're saying, Edward here,
Mhm.
he's a big fan of the
Oh my
IRGC,
God!
although
No, no, don't listen
he's
to
not
him.
Iranian.
Don't listen to him.
But
But
anyway,
I won't
going.
speak on it. I'll have General speak on it because I don't want to get told. His accent,
No, but
shields him from criticism. So, you know,
does it?
it does. Yeah, it's a very powerful accent. He could say anything. Go ahead, General. Just say
Are
something really
you
Yes, I'd
provocative.
like
saying
to
that?
repeat
Are you
myself.
bowing down to the British accent and the British
Mm-mm.
people? Is that what you're doing?
No, this particular one because I wouldn't bow down to Teddy's accent.
My, you still live under the
No
occupation
offense.
by the British, huh? In
No
America,
offense to Teddy.
Edward.
I
General's
don't. I'm
got a
still trying to
weird
figure out
accent.
why the two accents. Wait,
We've got
Steve too. Steve, you have
we've got
a
Rolf here
British.
now.
It's time for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Brits.
I've
It's
got
the
a British
Brits to
accent.
take
That's
over the
it.
Yep.
room.
Yeah, the
Brian, put
reinforcements are
some
coming.
videos in the chat. Do check it out, guys. Let's,
Why, General? Why is your accent
But
different than
by the
Teddy's?
way, by the way, the first video I believe he posted is related to Pakistan, so I'm not too sure what Pakistan has to do with what's happening in Palestine. Also, I started with the
They both
second
start with a
video.
P.
Yeah, also, I started with the second video. I mean, Brian, like the Palestinians are under occupation. I didn't finish the second full video. Like they're under occupations. They're being murdered and killed since 1947, 1948. You think they're gonna go out publicly and say we love our fucking enemy, we love our oppressors, and cheer for them? Like, what do you think is gonna happen?
No, I
Again, I
liken
didn't
it
finish
to.
the video. Again, I didn't finish the video, but I just saw the first part where animated to Mahmoud Abbas, who was the leader and PA and
Yeah.
was.
I liken it to the Irish Republican Army conflict, what, like 30, 40 years ago, where they were doing similar, back and forth attacks, and it was, decades. I mean, I don't think that was really religious based. It might have been political or ethnic, maybe.
What
Um,
the
Yeah,
IRA? You
but
mean?
yeah, the IRA.
Well, it was Protestant Catholic.
it was
Although,
religious.
to be honest with you,
Okay.
it was Protestant Catholic. But to be honest with you, and I think you may agree or you may disagree that the Israeli Palestine issue's gone this way as well. There was massive religious element in the beginning. However, it got political. It was about a country rather than
Yeah,
actual.
that's my
Um,
understanding.
yeah, that was so. That's a situation with the IRA situation.
So
Sorry,
could we
mate.
look
Carry on.
at that as a model? I mean, is that a roadmap perhaps to reconcile?
Brian, just addressing the first video. Let's look at the background of this whole system that was created. The madrasas teaching
Bro,
children to hate the
the first
US.
video you're talking about, the Pakistan one, I
it's
actually didn't
about the
even.
Taliban teaching
Yeah,
the
but
hate
we
towards
need
the
to address
U.S.
this. We need
because U.S. occupied fucking
no, no,
Afghanistan for 20 years, oppressed and suppressed
brother.
people,
But the
butchered and
story does
slaughtered
not
over
start there.
200,000 people, raping women.
Amir.
They have the right to hate the fucking
Yeah,
U.S.
but Amir,
Well,
the
they
I don't
story
hated
see a
does
the
problem
not
with that.
start.
they
The
hated
story
the
did not
U.S.
start when
before that.
the story did not start when the Americans occupied and invaded Afghanistan. The story started when the Americans funded these groups, funded madrasas, funded these groups within Pakistan and Afghanistan to fight the Soviet Union.
Yeah, back in the 1980s, when they were the Mujahideen and the Americans were
Exactly,
flooding
they
them
were
with
your
weapons.
friends, Brian.
Yeah, they were flooding them with weapons, but they were also keeping them divided and conquered. They were keeping individual tribal aspects separate,
Indeed.
which caused a lot of civil infighting once the Soviets left.
So you funded them, you radicalized them, you aided them to fight against the Soviets. So when your job got done, you then left.
Yeah, we
And then you said, "Oh, look
we
at those Muslims; they're terrorists."
yeah we screwed
You
that up.
created your own beast that you then fought decades later.
I agree, and they thought, just like Bush thought going into Iraq, that they could just say, "Hey, here are some elections. You guys can, control your own destiny. You're welcome." Right? And they weren't ready for that. So I mean, it was a huge blunder. It was a
Brian, it's
huge
not about being ready for it.
miscalculation. I'm
With all
saying
due
they did the
respect,
same
Brian,
thing with the religious aspect.
with all due respect, Brian, every country that is a modern form of democracy in Europe, in North America, wherever you may find it, has gone through a process of discovering itself. Democracy has never been imposed on these countries. So why should it be imposed on other countries that have barely been independent for 50 to 100 years? The UK, for example, hundreds of years it took to get democracy here. Europe, hundreds of years
And
of
Well,
fighting
the reason is
and
because they're
liberty.
committing acts of terrorism.
Sorry?
The reason is because a small subset of the population is committing random acts of terrorism. So,
Yeah, but terrorism is a very loose word, isn't it,
Wait, what
Brian? Because
Iraqi
one
was
man's terrorist
committing
becomes because
terrorism?
the people that were committing acts of terrorism against the Soviets weren't committed terrorism at the time, were they? According to the Americans, they were freedom fighters at that time.
yeah, sure.
I'd
There's
like
no sure
to.
about it. That's what your claims were.
Brian, wasn't it America built on terrorism as well? Killing Native Americans, enslaving black folks. Women couldn't even vote until like 1900s. Huh?
Well, there are all good defenses for those.
No, no, I'm asking. No, they did not get the reparations. Black folks haven't got the reparations. Native Americans are still fighting up till now, right? Millions and millions of Native Americans got killed and butchered and slaughtered and raped as well. My question to you: if the state and see this goes again back to that brother that was in here that was pointing fingers at Islam, I would suggest you, Brian, you coming from an atheist position, you would be more logical to understand the background behind it. That you shouldn't be pointing fingers at other places when America is responsible for a whole bunch of atrocities all over the world. And this is how America was built in the first place. It was established.
That's
you only
false.
have to look at
That's
Manifest
false.
Destiny with
That's
America.
false. They didn't kill Native Americans. I
I'm
want you to
saying the
ask your
equivocation.
Google how many millions of people did we kill in Native Americans?
I'm saying the equivocation that because Native Americans were conquered as we spread west in America
Did they resist?
doesn't mean that we can't fight terrorism
Did
today.
the Native Americans resist?
Well, some of them did. Some of them,
A lot of them did, and they
some of them
got butchered
sided
and
with us.
slaughtered.
Yeah, and a
Fighting
lot of them were
terrorism. What do you mean?
exposed to the germs that we brought from
Native
Europe.
Americans are terrorists up here. All of
I
a
think the
Yeah,
sudden,
I'm
you're
trying
the
to figure out.
colonizer.
Brian,
I think the
when you
majority
say
of
fighting
them
terrorism, what
died from the
terrorism? Can you
germs,
what terrorism? Can you be more specific?
smallpox. You want me to give you a list of the terrorism committed by Muslims
Muslims where? Here in America, or
around the
terrorism
world?
in America?
Around the world. Are you
Well, I mean, the
serious?
U.S. doesn't fight terrorism around the world for other people, right?
Brian, would you
Are you
call
seriously saying? What are you
Brian?
saying? I mean, what's your point?
I mean,
Brian, I
they're
want
not
to
going
understand
to
Are you saying that Muslims
Africa.
don't commit acts of terrorism around the
No,
world?
no, no. You're saying around the world, but are we talking about America here? Because America went to war with Iraq, right?
Right after 9/11, right?
Right.
Would you
So,
consider
so
9/11 to be a terrorist attack committed
yeah,
by Muslims?
yeah, yes.
Okay.
So, was Iraq involved?
No, I don't think so. I think Bush.
No.
I don't think so. I
Wait,
think
you have a whole war, but Iraq
that.
wasn't involved.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fuck up. I think Bush
Wait,
wanted to please his
it's,
dad.
it's
He
about
wanted
a
to
million
finish
people
what
that
his
a
dad
million. Hold
started.
on, 1 million Iraqis died.
it's a
You're
fuck
just
up. It's
saying
not. That's not
it's just a.
terrorism.
Well, I think Saddam was funding terrorism. So I
You
think there
Brian,
think
were
Brian,
connections.
Brian,
you
can I ask
were
something?
there? Can you point to any connections? I mean, or did you just assume that there are?
I
Can
remember
I?
looking it up years ago.
And it was weapons of mass destruction, wasn't it, that brought the U.S. into Iraq?
Yeah, I think that Saddam, I mean, from the reports I've read, he wanted each nation to believe that he had nukes. He
So
did have chemical weapons, which
Rich,
are technically
so he
WMDs,
wanted
but he
everyone to
wanted
believe that he
everybody
had
to believe
nukes.
that. So he set up these fake, you know, images and campsites
Brian, if
in order
I'm
to
assuming you
make
don't know
people think that.
you don't know how like nuclear what is it uranium enrichment works, but you can't just fake it. It doesn't work that way. What was said back in the early 2000s, actually after 9/11, Iran, Iraq, and North Korea, axis of evil. Those three countries. Iraq, what led up to us invading was that Iraq has weapons of mass destruction, but the U.S. didn't give any proof of that. We went in, still no proof, and we stayed for what 20 years. We're still there now, and we haven't technically left, and yet no proof of weapons of mass destruction.
And it wasn't a claim of nuclear weapons. You may be getting confused with Iran.
We can't hear you, Ralph.
I just wanted to clarify, there wasn't a claim by, the famous Colin Powell speech of nuclear weapons. It was a claim they had the ability to project massive chemical weapon attacks. That was the production
Which they
facility
did
they
have. They did
claimed.
have chemical weapons and used
But
chemical
but
weapons
No.
to
they
kill
didn't
hundreds
have
of
the
thousands of people.
capacity.
You're
So
saying they
technically, those
had nuclear
were
weapons?
WMDs.
What?
But they
Is
didn't
somebody
have the
saying they
capacity to
had
launch
nuclear
them.
weapons in this room? Is somebody saying that?
He said that Iraq pretended to have nuclear weapons, and I said that's not how
No,
enriching uranium
look,
works. You can't fake that.
listen, there was a guy who reported on this very accurately and closely, Scott Ritter, and
Yeah.
he's still active today. He was
Yep.
there. He was the lead of the team that went in and did the weapons inspections. There was no discussion of nuclear
He
weapons.
was
They had
fired,
an arsenal that they'd already had since the 90s that the West had helped arm him. And he inspected the facilities, and it was all about long range missiles and chemical weapons caches and all the rest of it. There was no discussion about nuclear
and
capability.
he was fired, by the way, and then rehired again. But when he was fired
Yeah,
by the U.S. Marines, he was fired because he wouldn't sign a report saying that he has found
yeah,
weapons of mass destruction because they
exactly.
couldn't find any,
And
and then they rehired him again.
he urged them to give him more time to prove that he was right, and they didn't. They just bypassed the UN, which said the UN said if there's an actual real threat, you have the right to respond. But the US used that as a quote unquote mandate to invade, which was not legal. I wrote to my ministers in the UK and said, did they have the legal right? They said no. So it was all just a fig leaf. The US had planned that war many years in advance. The oil companies already had a big trade show to decide who's going to get the spoils. All this talk of bringing democracy to any country has to always be viewed with suspicion because the US, its main goal is power and domination over the entire world. And it stated that again and again and again, including the Project for a New American Century, which was written exactly 1 year and published before 9/11 in September 2000 by the neocons who wanted to justify forward basing and massive expansion all over the world. And they said there won't be public support in the US unless there's a catalyzing event similar to Pearl Harbor, and that's exactly what they got 1 year later. And the neocons, many of them became a new team, a new department called the Office of Special Plans, in which case they embedded themselves in the US government and Pentagon to arrange all of war plans, including the revealed planned regime change of 7 countries that Admiral Wesley Clark revealed many years later. So all of this was pretexts for the wars that they fought, largely on request of Israel. There are many, many speeches you can watch of Netanyahu trying to persuade the US to take down all of its enemies in the region, including Iraq, Iran, Syria, etc. So this talk of the US was naive and dumb and they thought they would bring democracy to Iraq is irrelevant. There is footage of troops walking into different communities and say, we'll arm you against that faction. Hey, aren't the Sunnis evil? We'll protect you against them. And they were so intentionally sowing the seeds of destabilization. There was no plan to create a thriving democracy. And when many countries in Latin America or Africa try to create their own self-sufficient democracies, the US, in many cases, regime changes the truly democratic leaders and plants in their own, supplicant vassal leaders like Pinochet in Chile. The list goes on and on. We literally just did the same thing in Venezuela. We did the same thing to Gaddafi,
Happened in the
Nasser in
Congo.
Egypt. The list is endless. We don't support democracies. We support regimes that are friendly to the West. And the British are completely involved in that with the Israelis.
Hopefully you got your answer, Brian. And Scott Ritter, he still makes videos. You should check him out. He started working for the UN. He's a weapon expert as well, and he said it multiple times that there's no mass weapons of destruction. You know, and what it was I think father of what who was the ruler, like Bush, right, back then,
Yeah.
Edward, during the so father of Bush had some animosity between him, and I think some beef between him and Saddam Hussein. It was like an egoistic problem,
Well,
and
that's another narrative that I don't buy because it's bigger
and
than those
and
people. But carry on.
Saudi Arabia was scared as well because there's evidence out there. Um, Saudi Arabia was like Saddam is going to take over Saudi Arabia as well, and Saddam, he even attacked Israel, and Netanyahu came to the Congress, begged, a whole bunch of Congress members. There's a there's a video of him. You can go on YouTube and find it, and he even predicted the 9/11 thing. You know,
Yeah, Netanyahu said he bragged about it. He put it in a book that was published in '95 or '96, predicting there would be an attack like the World Trade Center attack. It was almost identical. His description.
Yeah, but let's not forget, I think there was a comment made earlier that this all started with 9/11. Let's not forget that the Americans were bombing, the West was bombing
Hmm.
Middle Eastern Muslim countries many
Yeah,
decades before 9/11.
the whole of this
They just
trajectory.
codified it into war on terror
Yeah.
after 9/11. Countries were still being overthrown and bombed prior to and
Yeah.
decades before 9/11,
Well,
Brian.
the whole terrorism propaganda campaign began in the 60s,
Hmm.
not long after the foundation of Israel, in 1948. And by the 60s, you had the assassination of Bobby Kennedy, JFK's brother, 1968, blamed on a Palestinian patsy who Bobby Kennedy's son, RFK Jr., knows that Sirhan did not pull the trigger that killed his father. It was clearly a setup. And the only people that stood to gain at the time was the Israelis, who could promote this idea of Arab terrorism. And ever since then, all through the 70s, countless movies and events and false flag events, all aimed at demonizing Arabs. Actually, I correct myself. The demonizing of Arabs started way earlier than that, because even the first false flag attacks, they disguised themselves as Arabs. So the bombing of the King David Hotel, killing British citizens, they disguised themselves as Arabs. So the demonizing of Arabs as terrorists began really early on, and they spent nearly a century pushing that propaganda, and it worked more and more effectively. And even before 9/11, you had the World Trade Center 93 bombing, which the FBI finally, it got revealed they were the handlers of that bomber. And then you had the USS Cole attack, uh, which made Osama famous and already
You
supposedly the
could go
most
all the way
wanted
back.
terrorist. Yeah.
You could go all the way back to the beginning of America with the
Mm.
Barbary pirates, the Muslims attacking merchant ships off the Barbary coast. Muslims attacking uh, United
Well,
States
there would have been
ships.
random conflicts. I mean, the British had fought combat with everybody, Spanish, French, you name it. We fucking were fighting everybody. So then, yeah, pirates
No, I'm
kill
saying
each other.
Muslims committing
Yeah, I know you're
piracy
picking
against
on Muslims.
America.
I don't know why, but the British were the
Well,
terrorists of the region.
because
We were the
these
thieves,
guys are
right?
saying it just started. These guys are saying
No,
it
I
just
said the
started.
propaganda campaign by Israel, which has a particular unique style. They have a unique brand of propaganda, right? The British had always had a grudge against Arabs. I grew up with that propaganda. That was just a cultural thing. But the Israelis, in order to help justify their expansionism and expulsion of Arabs, they created a very specific propaganda campaign aimed mostly at the American public. And because they had Hollywood, they could make all these movies like Raid on Entebbe and countless Hollywood movies portraying Arabs as crazy, suicide bombers, rapists, all the rest of it. Every evil you could think of is portrayed in the Hollywood movies. So that was unique to the Israeli slant on what I'm talking about. And that really picked up and accelerated and peaked with 9/11. That's the point I'm making here. I'm not talking about organic natural animosity or prejudices that already existed for hundreds of years. I'm talking about their particular orchestrated campaign. They did 200 false flag attacks within a space of a few years, all of them portrayed as Arab terrorist attacks. The British weren't doing anywhere near as many false flags as the Israelis by that point. The famous Lavon affair, and maybe even more famous now, the USS Liberty attack on the American naval vessel, unarmed vessel in the Mediterranean off of Egypt, which was coordinated attack with the Americans to blame it on the Egyptians, all part of the Suez Crisis. And Lyndon Johnson facilitated that and gave complete cover, gave complete denial that the Israelis were involved. And when it came out, they said it was just an accident, but it was 100% orchestrated and an intention to sink the vessel, but it wouldn't sink. They attacked it from the air and with torpedoes, strafed it with machine gun fire and napalm, if you can believe that. And when the crew were trying to get away in lifeboats, they were shooting the men in the lifeboat. So it was a complete war crime with the intention of eliminating the entire crew, which failed. The American ship was too strong, it didn't sink. So the Israelis failed in their mission, but the attempt was to blame it on the Egyptians. I don't know why he's run off, but
I was going to
sometimes,
address him. I wanted to.
sometimes the truth hurts.
No, but he mentioned, oh, the Barbary pirates, Muslims, Muslims, Muslims.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
is it every time a Muslim does something, the faith is to blame, but every time a Christian or Jew does something, it's an individual crime. It's not nothing to do with their religion.
Apparently not.
General,
Apparently, when the British
he
went around murdering and killing everybody, we weren't terrorists. We were just nice, cute pirates, right? Which
Yeah.
makes us okay. But if Arabs do it, that means they're terrorists. What?
Ralph,
What's the difference?
he mainly came up here to address or talk about Muslims. Like
Yeah, that
he
was his
was
only
listening into
goal.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he was listening into that. I don't know if you were here for it, but another person that was in the room talking about Islam and all this stuff, and he was commenting in the chat, so that's why he came up.
I think he left because the more you dig into that topic, the more it exposes Israel, and
Yeah.
it does
No, but
not
it's
go
not just
very well.
Israel. It exposes the US and their policies.
Yeah,
Basically,
yeah,
they've created their own monsters. You
right.
can't get away from that.
No, and I'm
Even
saying the
up
more
to
you
up to
dig, the
Saddam
more
Hussein. You know when he was
information.
going towards Saddam Hussein, Rolf, who
Say that
created
again.
Saddam Hussein? Who made him deadly? Who provided
Yeah,
them chemical
right.
weapons?
Yeah, see, as the famous quote was, he
It
came
wasn't the
into town
Chinese.
on a CIA train, as they used to say. Yeah, like so many these dictators, we install them, and then when they go a little bit rogue, we depose them. Same with Noriega. Same with so many of these vassal cronies. Same with the Shah of Iran, obviously, is the most famous one. They were our friends. We put them in power, and then they got all cocky and thought they could start helping their own
If the West
country.
supports a dictator, that dictator is so soft and nice. He can never be brutal.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah.
They're like
Pinochet,
cute,
such a nice guy.
like cute little teddy bears. If the West supports a dictator,
That's right. Like cute, cuddly Pinochet. Right.
yeah,
Really
of
nice,
course.
friendly guy. Hmm. so much more behind this shit. So much deeper the rabbit hole goes. All the shit being exposed about Mossad and Israel and Wexner involved with Epstein and how that connects back to Maxwell and an entire Israeli network of blackmail operations. And this was already researched thoroughly by Whitney Webb and others. She published her book, One Nation Under Blackmail, I think maybe 2 years ago already now. So a lot of these supposed new revelations coming out were already well documented over the last several years. And hardly anyone's paying attention to how much Israel is implicated in all this shit. And these violent acts in the news are all helping to distract from it. Not, I don't think that's the main reason or purpose, but it does, unfortunately, uh, help provide cover from those who were actually getting really interested in what the Epstein files were really all about. It's not just about kiddies and shit. It's about massive, complex blackmail operation and smuggling, arms smuggling, illicit black funds being used to support covert operations. Entire network.
Rolf, what was that Instagram thing that you posted in the chat about Israel going?
Well, you'd have to look at it, but there's a guy. The guy posts a lot of really interesting stuff, and he's ranting on about. Looks like Israel's getting ready. Did you also hear yesterday various sources saying in the West Bank they've suddenly removed all these checkpoints and opened up
Yeah, a few
these?
of them. Yes, they did.
Yeah,
Rolf,
and I
just a
wonder if
heads
it's
up.
all.
You know when
Go
you
ahead.
post Instagram links,
Yeah.
after the question mark, you delete everything after the question mark because it links directly to your Instagram.
Huh? What? Say that again. Say that again.
You know the link that you post,
Yeah.
when you post it completely as it is,
Yeah.
when someone then opens it, it recommends your account to them.
Huh.
So
Interesting.
yeah, so anything after in the link, anything after the question mark, you should delete. Does that make sense?
No, that doesn't
Hold
make
on,
sense to me.
1 second.
Are you saying I should get rid of the link?
Yeah, get rid of the link. I'll post the same link and I'll tell you exactly.
That's weird.
So there are two ways to post the link in the chat, Rolf, or to share it with someone. One
Okay.
of them, one of them, when you click on it and open that link, it
Yeah.
will show your personal account as the account who recommended this link, and
Okay.
the other way will just take you to that video without showing who actually sent it. So
Okay.
if you
And
look on,
how do you grab that link? Like, how did you post that one then?
so you just
General.
the same way that you copy paste it in the chat, you just
Yeah.
have to delete the part that like the last part all the way to the question mark.
Oh, I get it. You just meant delete part of the URL
Yeah,
that you
part of
got.
it. Yes, not
Okay.
yes, part of it. Part of it.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you look at the link I've posted
Yeah.
and compare it to the one that you have, everything after the question mark is deleted.
Got it.
So, how about YouTube?
Not
No,
YouTube.
YouTube doesn't. It
It doesn't
doesn't
have
do
the
Yeah,
same
that.
thing.
they don't do that, right?
No,
No,
no.
no,
No.
no.
They have a
Okay.
universal
Got
link
it.
for the video.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I thought.
No worries. Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Rolf, just while you're here,
Hmm.
I'm not sure if Edward told you, but he's a strong supporter of the IRGC.
I think Rolf supports IRGC as well, right, Rolf?
Oh, does he?
Oh, he's also a big Trump supporter. I heard he was
Oh,
really
okay, Ralph.
overjoyed
Don't fall for
about the
General
bombing
just
of
because he has this
Venezuela. He got
accent.
really excited
Ralph,
about
Ralph, don't fall
it.
for this guy. Look, listen to this accent. Listen,
I know
listen.
he's got a northern accent. I don't trust
Is that what it
Northerners.
is? Northerners? Okay, I don't
That's
trust
what it is.
Northerners.
That's what you're picking up
Just like
on.
the Game of Thrones, they never trusted Northerners in the Game of
Yes.
Thrones
Now
either.
you're getting it. Now you're getting it.
Yes,
Don't trust them northern monkeys.
you know.
They're
Who's a
nothing but
northerner?
trouble.
Edward, you don't trust me?
What? What? Who's that?
Oh,
Pumpkin?
nothing.
Royal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a northerner. You don't trust
Yes.
me?
No. Yeah. No. You're. Yeah. But American Northerner. That's different than a British Northerner. When you talk about
I'm not
British Northerner, you
British.
get
Wait,
General.
wait, Edward, I'm not
I'm not a
fucking
British
British.
northerner though.
I'm
You know.
American. What
Okay.
the fuck?
No,
No,
I'm saying
he's saying he trusts you because you're an American. He was talking about the British.
British.
Okay, okay,
I'm
my
talking
bad. I
about
thought you
general. Yeah, and he's saying he's not a northerner. Then
He is a
you know,
northerner. General is a northerner. Yeah.
I'm not.
Oh, yes,
So
you are. You're a northerner.
Turkey
I'm not. I've
evacuated
never been a
12.
northerner.
What are
They
you then?
evacuated 12 planes from Iran.
wow.
So what did
I
you
Sorry,
don't
say?
know.
say
Sorry,
that
Skinny.
again.
Turkey evacuated 12 planes from Iran. I don't know if this is protest related or if something is actually gonna happen.
Can you provide the link?
I sent it to you, bro.
Or did you?
I see
Yeah,
the woman that was shot by ICE agents in Minneapolis earlier today, and she was
yeah.
killed. They gave
I
her like,
mentioned that she died.
yeah, she died. He shot her in the head like 4 times.
That's
Okay, come
crazy.
here. Yeah, you know what's crazy about it, right? Christy Nome, the head of DHS, the fucking bitch. She gets on national TV and she goes, "Oh, this is the persecution that my ICE agents have to endure every day. This kind of, whatever." But here's the thing, right? Hold on 1 second. Take your Cheez-Its. Okay, well, that's like a spring toy. That's an outside toy. Sorry, guys. Okay, here's the thing. If I go out and I jump in front of oncoming traffic, am I allowed to execute the driver that hit me
You know what's
after
interesting,
I
Pumpkin,
walked
is that
into oncoming traffic? No,
you know what's
that's
the
felonious and illegal. So how is that okay for ICE agents to do that?
the police don't even do that. If they were in the same situation that this ICE agent was in, they wouldn't shoot the driver.
Mm-hmm.
They would let
Exactly.
him go and they would chase him. Yeah, they wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I'm hearing a lot
Oh,
of talk that
uh,
they're either IDF themselves or trained by IDF. These ICE
I
agents.
have no comment because I do not want to get in trouble. Um, the guy Brian that was in here earlier. Nobody mentioned that the first country to recognize the U.S. as a nation was a Muslim country. It was Morocco.
Well, thank you.
I'm surprised nobody brought it up. I was on my computer. I couldn't unmute
You couldn't unmute? Why you couldn't you unmute?
because I'm writing a
What
report,
was the Morocco about,
feasibility
Edward?
report.
What was the Morocco about?
The U.S. the Morocco as a Muslim nation. Morocco was the first nation to recognize America as a nation.
And they just
Oh.
recognized Somaliland.
And Israel. What about Israel? Morocco recognizing Israel?
Was it the first nation?
No, I don't know. In
I don't.
1949 or 50, wasn't it?
I don't know. I'll look that up. I knew about Morocco recognizing.
Yeah,
Um,
ask your girlfriend Sally from the Valley.
First of all, she's not a girl. She doesn't like the name Sally. I think this. I don't want to say the name is Sally. The name Sally is ugly. In case
Her
somebody
name
hears.
is Sally.
Um,
Susie.
Lucy. What is this? Why can't she be
I
like?
love Lucy. Have
How
you
about
seen the show? I love Lucy.
how about Amber the stripper? How about that? What's wrong with
No,
Oh
that?
my
Why
no.
can't I
God!
have that?
Oh my God!
No, no. How about Samantha Emily?
I like
Samantha.
Emily. I think Emily's a pretty name actually. I
Back
have nothing
back
against
to the
Samantha either.
Iran thing really
What about
quickly.
Lisa?
There are
I'll
lots
recognize
and
who
lots.
recognizes real.
Back to the Iran thing, if you don't mind, really quickly. There's lots of implying Iran. The Russians apparently have been sending countless cargo planes per week. This is unprecedented. We know
It
that
was the
they.
An
U.S.
invasion by whom?
Sorry, Ralph.
Well, when I
It was
say
the U.S.
invasion,
Amir and Ralph. Are you talking about Iran?
yes, sorry. And when I
Yeah.
say invasion, I don't mean a full
No, I
scale.
know it was the U.S. the first country. I'm talking about when did Morocco recognize
Yeah, I know
Israel?
you were, but
Oh,
I
hold
don't
on.
know
Yeah.
why we're going on about
Also,
that.
China has been sending stuff to Iran. Also,
Okay.
Yeah, there's a big
hold on.
ramp
I'll
up,
tell you.
and I think I think it's all connected. I think this attack, supposedly on Lebanon, I think the changes going on in the West Bank. There's lots and lots of things all happening in a flurry together. It implies something massive is going to happen very soon. It times perfectly with the protests in Iran, because when you do a regime change, Just look at what we saw in Venezuela. You combine a military action with an attempt at supporting some kind of puppet leader, right? We know they've got Raziel or whatever the fuck his name
Oh shit.
waiting in the wings.
Sorry, Ralph.
Yeah.
Actually, Morocco officially recognized Israel as a nation in 2020 as part of the Abraham Accords.
Oh well, fuck them.
I,
Oh wow.
no, I'm just shocked that I thought they had recognized them like decades ago. Like,
Yeah, that's what I thought as well.
There were a
yeah.
few countries involved in the Abraham Accords, not just the UAE.
Yeah, it was a
We didn't
UAE,
say
Morocco.
UAE. We said Morocco.
No, no, I'm just making clear that there were a few countries because people seem to think it was just one or two countries.
Hmm.
It was
Yeah,
GCC
no.
countries, right? The UAE.
Amir asked when did Morocco?
No, Sudan was on there as well, I think.
Yeah,
Wow, this is fucked up.
I think South Sudan. It wasn't
No, no,
Sudan, was it?
Sudan, I think.
Well,
Maybe.
we split them every time we split them, right? So they wanna bring South Yemen into the Abraham Accords, not the whole of Yemen. It's all about
Hmm.
divide and conquer. They wanna recognize Somaliland, but they don't want to be friends with Somalia. They want to split it up. So it's all part of their technique of gaining Israeli allies and working with the West to destabilize, fragment these nations to create division and weaken any Islamic republics and any nations that want to be nice to China primarily. So it's all part of this strategy.
Yeah, the
Calling it the
signatories to
Abraham Accords
the
is
Abraham Accords
bizarre. Go ahead.
are Bahrain, the UAE, Morocco, and Sudan.
Yeah, it shows the ones they're trying to co-opt and bring under their thumb. That's the pattern you see here every time. Morocco's population are quite anti-Israel, but Morocco's leadership are totally in bed with Israel, and so it all fits.
Yeah.
Sudan was the same because
Yeah,
prior to the overthrow of Bashir, they were very anti-Israel, and as soon as he went,
So
right.
is it Sudan or South Sudan, General?
no, no, Sudan,
Sudan did?
yeah,
Surprised.
January 2021.
What did they get out of it? Nothing.
Yeah,
Some
back
pillowcases,
baby,
dildos, maybe.
back baby. Holla at your boy. Go ahead.
You mentioned dildos, and
Oh yeah, speaking of dildos, hello,
He
Black Rabbi.
mentioned dildos and Black Rabbi showed up.
yeah,
Kosher.
isn't that interesting?
Are you
Right,
talking about
imagine.
kosher toys? Kosher.
Edward, I own you, right? You know that. I
Okay,
own you.
keep voting.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Black
own you.
Rabbi. Black Rabbi, you're not gonna go down that path anymore. Okay, calm down.
Oh,
We're just
what are you
having
gonna
a we're
defend
just
it?
having a good conversation. Just calm down. Um, but Rolf, that guy that was in here, what was his name? Michael. He ran away pretty quick after he was provided
Michael
facts. Huh?
O'Brien.
What was his name?
I think
Brian or
it's
Brian,
Michael?
Brian.
What? Brian. Brian. He
Yeah.
ran away really quick after getting all these facts and whatever. And I think in bigger rooms, some of the big rooms, it doesn't really happen. It's all about opinions. I'm like,
Right.
even those opinions need to be challenged.
no, but I mean,
Well,
a lot of people are sometimes misled because they only see one side of the story. Nothing's ever really explained to them. They just look at a video or look at the propaganda they're fed, and they don't challenge it.
Yeah, and he was
Or
No one
misled.
challenges them on
or
it.
I don't
or the
think he
you
had bad intentions. I think he because this is up until a couple of years ago. This literally was what Americans thought. Palestinians are fighting for religious reasons. They
yeah,
just don't like Jews. They've been doing it for literally thousands of
Yeah,
years. Muslims have been fighting Jews for thousands of years.
yeah, that's why we
What he's
saved them.
yeah, well, I mean, but we weren't around for thousands of years, so but this is how little they know. But that was the narrative that Israel
You weren't
propagated.
around for thousands of years, Edward.
I'm saying Islam was not around thousands of years. They
You
say
were though.
Muslims were fighting Jews for thousands of years.
Yeah.
no they,
And he
they
said that.
say Islam keeps teaching Muslims to fight and hate the
He does
Jews.
that too, and then no, they don't understand. And this is like they never. You don't take the time to look at like, Islam. They compare it to Christianity. That's the problem.
It
In
take man
Christianity,
it takes them like you use Chat GPT, yeah. Takes them one question to get the answer for what's actually in the book about Bani Israel.
but it's not just it's a mindset, because if you're raised Christian, you're raised to believe that religion is structured and no matter it's there is a hierarchy within the religion. There's somebody in charge. There are people in charge of the religion, and they don't understand when you talk to them about in Islam. This is what was taken out of religion, so that you have a direct connection to God. Which we don't have to get into all the details, but we're decentralized. We don't
But
have a
they know
cleric that
that
we would point to.
no, but they know that we follow. Yani, we have the book which we all follow, and we follow the prophet.
Yeah, but they have the Bible too, and they follow Jesus, but they are
So
still in the paradigm of, um, they would their scholars are in charge, like they're part of the church. The
so
church is part of a larger group of churches.
I want to
This is
switch
how
up
they
the
think.
title a little bit. Is it Edward plus America? Is it a love story or liability?
Oh my God, you'll get Ace going crazy. Go ahead, do it. You got Ace going crazy.
Oh my God. What do you guys think about Edward plus,
No, that's the wrong
Edward?
title. I think you should put Edward and IRGC.
Oh
No,
my
no,
God.
no,
Love
no,
story
no.
or liability.
No,
No,
okay. If you
that's
want
a
all the
violation.
Pahlavi supporters in the room, General, is that what you want?
They're all blocked anyway.
No, well, they're not blocked by Amir.
Some of them are
Oh
blocked.
yeah,
Some of them
Amir
are
uses them as punching bags.
Islamophobes are blocked. The other ones is that Reza Pahlavi, they come in here, but the ones that are non-Islamophobic.
What about that? What's his name? Pejman.
Pajman,
Oh,
I haven't heard of him in a
He's
while.
blocked
Is he
because he mocked
blocked?
Islam. He mocked Islam like more than 10 times, bro.
And the guy
He
can't.
needs to take a look in the mirror before he mocks anything.
And
Yeah,
yeah. I can't believe he's educated. How can
he's a
educated people
dentist.
be stupid? I know.
بس أخته والله عادي anybody can go to
What do
university
you
and
mean? What's a problem?
بس أخته شو يعني like
You got to تغار من الدنتست انت. What's dentist in Arabic?
no أنت no you're saying that you're shocked that he's educated.
Yeah, a dentist, that carries himself this way. Yeah, that's shocking to me. It should be shocking to you too.
Yeah, but
You-
doesn't Samsung claim to be
No,
a
it's
doctor?
not shocking, bro.
I don't
Uh,
get what Samsung. He claims to be a doctor, but he's always on this app.
Who's
well,
Doctors
yeah
barely get any
no I
time.
think Samson is studying. He's not a practicing
Oh,
doctor.
he's studying. Okay.
I think if
he's
I'm
like,
not wrong.
hey guys.
Yeah.
I,
So we need to update. Look, I'm not going to change the title because I'm against putting names in the title,
I don't mind.
and it's in violation of Clubhouse TOS as well.
Only
So
if I report you.
I'm just going to
No,
ask
actually,
people.
somebody
No,
else could report you.
Edward, you won't report it, but these Zionists will take
Yeah.
advantage of it. So here's the title, right? So Edward, I'm just going to ask people if they come in. I'll just Trump. Edward plus America. Is it a love story or liability? I think it's a big liability. Edward,
Um,
you're a liability, man.
can you put Ed the Great? No, in the title. In the title.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm
Uh,
good.
you could put.
I never put anybody's name in the title. I'm gonna leave it at that.
You gotta have. You gotta have a controversial title. Just take whatever I say when the room goes sideways, and then for the next day use that as a title.
Do it. Or something like really just insane.
Yeah,
And then, yeah, just like quote the person, write their name in it too. Oh, wait, don't write their name because you don't want to
No,
do
he's
that.
he
But yeah,
said
yeah,
that.
write their
Yeah,
name.
he
it's
said he
all
didn't
right.
want to do
It's
that.
all right. Because the Zionists, they're always reporting my room. They're trying to find ways. How do we fucking get him off this app?
Yeah.
But anyways, I think it is very.
Wallah, Amir, they want you so bad. The moment they catch something on you, you're done, dude.
That's what I'm
I
saying. That's what I'm saying,
swear
He's
to
not
brother.
done.
God,
They
bro.
have not. I mean, even if they knew who he was, what can they do?
The problem is not
It's
only
so
that.
easy to make multiple accounts, though. Like, even if you
He
get
goes.
clipped,
No,
it's
we're not talking about getting clipped, bro. We're talking beyond getting clipped. We're talking
He-
getting clipped in real
Ducks
life.
Let me
and
tell you
doc
something.
stuff.
People are not going to ask him when they're buying a Prius
No,
from him
I don't. Yeah, I don't
what kind.
even think
What he
it's.
is.
I don't even think Amir is gonna be about getting doxxed, dude. If they catch something on you, like all the fucking recordings, everything they have on you is definitely gonna be reported, like 100%.
I, me and Shuki, we have a lot of recordings. Yeah,
Yeah, but
we
here, dude, here like
Suki does a good job on fucking them over multiple times because they think
no,
they're the
but
top dog.
no, but here is the difference: is that where you live, they don't allow you to speak against Israel and all that nonsense, you know.
But
So
he's
you're,
Yeah,
financially independent in terms of.
I'm Fawad Jalani. You know, you can't go wrong. Once you go Fawad, you can't go wrong with Fawad.
Well, I mean, but
I mean, you
he
and
makes his own
everybody in the
money.
West that comes to this room is gonna go down if you go down. To be honest with you, like I'm just
Everybody go. I go down.
Uh,
Everybody go down.
we're
everybody,
definitely.
everybody.
What are you saying? We should all disassociate now?
I didn't hear Pumpkin. What did she say?
You can always just pretend that you're not psychologically well.
He doesn't have to
Pumpkin,
pretend.
Pumpkin. Can I ask you Julian's
Get
name?
in here.
As far as I remember, it starts with K. Is it true?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It does. Okay.
What is it, Kyle? Like what's K?
Why?
That
Why,
was so
Abu?
simple. Oh my God, you got his name. How did you do it?
I swear to God, I don't know his name. I'm actually like, what else could it
How
be
did you
other than
do
Kyle,
this?
bro?
How did you
Like I
do this,
can't.
man?
I don't know, bro.
Here. Now you want Julian in the room now, right? You can't
Is
wait
it
until he comes in the room, right,
Let me
Abu?
bring Julian in here.
is it actually Kyle? Like I actually don't know.
Yeah.
I pinged him. He's offline right now. You need some content right now. Hey, what's up, Nazil? What's up, brother? Assalamu alaikum. I'm thinking about
But
connecting it today.
how is that his name? He's no offense, but he's Hispanic. That's a really white boy's name.
I
Yes,
said.
very.
What, pumpkin?
I said I had the exact reaction,
Oh,
same
okay.
words and everything. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. You would expect something like Michael or Miguel
Yep.
or
Something.
James. Something like it's usually biblical names with
Or
Hispanic people.
Jessica
Yeah.
or Jazzy or like Lauren, something like that, you know, given that he's the
Yeah. The opposite.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. That. Yeah. So you're going all out then, Abu. You're gonna just put the whole name
And
out there, not letter by letter, just the whole
yeah,
name all at
just the
Bro,
once.
whole
like
name.
I didn't expect it to be right, to be honest with you. I thought you were gonna say no, that's not it.
Okay. You got a what is it? A hediya, right?
I don't know, bro. Like I just you get said K, the only person I can
And
think about with a K is
don't forget, he's suffering from the C word, the
what's the C
disease.
word too now? What the fuck is C
C
word?
R
CR?
CR.
A
Crazy
B.
crabs. He has crabs. I
Oh
got
my
it.
God, you
I
got
got it. He
it!
has crabs. I
It's
remember.
like an old game. You remember the
Yeah.
game that used to come on
Great.
TV?
I thought you
A
were gonna say
B.
chlamydia, but okay.
Chloe, oh my
Chlamydic crabs. I don't know if that's a word. Could
God.
be. Crabs. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
a thing.
John Kidover, if you are in the audience, may God curse you, Hashem curse you, to all the way back to wherever the fuck you came from, Poland. You did a campaign fraud in America, and you're being investigated by the feds. Go burn in hell, bitch.
Listen, if
See,
John Kidover,
that's another person that also wants to go after Amir. Like this person, oh my god, yeah, Amir. Oh my god, dude.
Came to
He
his
he
house. Call the
he will
feds
call
on
every
Amir
single law
now.
agency
Or no,
in the
what was
fucking
it?
US.
Call the feds on Amir terrorists
Yeah. He
now.
has a he has a house here that he promotes this, yeah?
Doing
so
everything.
if Kidover actually took all his YouTube videos and put only this room, this house's videos up, he will have a very large following. It would be like the people that follow soap operas.
No, no,
I
he
don't
doesn't know
think
how to
anyone wants
market.
to follow him.
He,
He's his
No,
own
no.
follower.
I'm saying of this house, meaning on YouTube of us talking every day. If we put those videos up,
I think he does it for his own entertainment. I don't think he has any viewers.
no, he doesn't. He doesn't. But he could.
Like he's one sick
one sick
animal that has
bastard.
about what
Yeah.
80 phones. Like what
Yeah.
normal person has 80
70, to
phones?
be exact, 77 phones.
77, correction.
Yeah,
77 bucks.
77.
And Annie bought them for 30
Bro,
bucks a month.
bro,
30 bucks.
hey, listen, let me give you an update. Russia, they evacuated their embassy in Tel Aviv.
Mm.
They have an embassy in Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think so. That's so.
all the
The Ru-
countries do.
Yeah, most of them have it in Tel Aviv.
Russia and China would have embassies
And
everywhere.
they're
Well, Tel
saying
Aviv
they're
used to
saying
be
that
the capital, remember? It was only Trump that moved it to
Yeah, it's only a few
Jerusalem.
countries that moved it to Jerusalem.
Yeah,
To West Jerusalem.
yeah,
The UK
West
yeah.
asked
Jerusalem.
Yes.
the UK asked their people to leave Iran. India asked their people to leave Iran. Canada asked their people to leave Iran. Russia asked their people to leave Iran immediately. Let's see what else here. Let's
I
see.
want to give you guys new
The UK has
updates.
asked
In Walaikum Assalam, Summer. I want to give you
Alaikum
some
assalam.
updates in relate to the West Bank. They're advancing the prepares to build E1 settlement to bury Palestinian state. I put the link in the chat. Check it out.
the European Union has asked everyone to leave Rabbi Shmuley's dildo shop.
Oh
Wait,
no.
no, did they ask to say anything about
A-
Israel? Are people
And
being asked to
and
leave
this
Oh,
will,
Israel?
Edward, this will
no,
block the
Israel,
Palestinian state.
no.
By the way,
It's what?
this will block the Palestinian state.
Yeah, I
What
mean
would?
this would E1,
I mean, the only
Jerusalem.
person that I saw like is Edward,
Say it
So
again.
look, the government last month posted a
the
tender for more
Palestinian
than
state thing.
3,400 housing units in the proposed E1 project, which would cut the occupied West Bank into two and prevent the formation of state on contiguous territory.
Why did you drop Edward?
I didn't drop Edward.
Yeah, you did.
No, I fucking the I hit the button. I went to mute. I mean mute. You know how the things come up with the this person is in this room, join room. Those join, when you get invited to rooms.
You should hit mute more often, Edward.
Yeah, funny, funny, funny. So
Bro,
I went to hit mute and I ended up in this guy's room. What the fuck?
here, Saudi Arabia is leaving anybody that is supporting Israel, and they're joining Turkey and Qatar.
They're
Yep.
leaving anybody that's supporting
Yeah, so
Israel? What is that?
they no longer have interest in UAE, Egypt, all these
Yeah, I
countries.
Yeah,
read that they're basically reconfiguring.
I've heard some
yeah.
really interesting theories about this whole business of reconfiguring and pulling out of the military.
That's what happens with Qatar when you
No,
hit
but I think
Qatar.
this Yemen thing that they did, the Saudis, they've kind of drawn a red line, and now they're extending that policy.
I said this when
Bro, if you look,
after Israel hit Qatar, everybody was like, what's Qatar going to do?" And I
Mm,
said, "It's not going to be one big wave. It's going to be a lot of
yeah.
little ripples.
Mm,
And you're going to see major changes in the Middle East because that was a
yeah.
big deal. That was a very, very big
Well,
deal.
okay, here's a theory I heard just maybe yesterday. There's an interesting guy called Simon Dixon who is mainly a crypto bro, but it's led into,
No credibility.
yeah, I
I
know.
know. Go ahead. I'm joking. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's dug deep. I think he was already highly political, but he uses the Bitcoin as almost an excuse to really investigate the geopolitics of the world and spread the word basically. And he has come to the conclusion, and I've heard this from other people, that basically the West no longer benefits from a destabilized war zone situation in the Middle East. They are decoupling from it, and China is the bigger influence now, and they want a stabilized Middle East for obvious reasons, right? Um, now I'm on the fence because the West also displays actions that do support a perpetuation of the militarization of the world, and they are, I don't know, they seem to be destabilizing in some regions, but looking for ways out, ways to exit in other regions. So I'm curious how this is going to play out. And he uses things like the Iranian theatrics to support his thesis because he says if you look at what Iran did, there was no real attempt at an actual military coup or invasion or anything like that. It was a silly little tit for tat. We know it was very carefully calibrated with it, in concert with the West. And hardly any Israelis died. Blah blah blah. Is it face saving to pretend that they're still in conflict, but really behind the scenes? everybody's just kind of, well, the Western powers are leaving the sinking ship or handing it over to China, but with an arrangement in the works where everybody gets a piece of the pie, but the West retreats and gets more militarized in the Western Hemisphere, like as we're seeing in this recolonization of Central and South America. It's an interesting theory. I'm not sure yet if that's real.
Bro, have you guys heard about the pizza index?
Not really.
Explain it to them.
Okay, so the pizza index, whenever something has happened in the Pentagon in the US, the pizza index, is usually high. So, for example, when the Venezuela attack happened, took place by the US, the pizza index showed that there was like, a lot of whatever, it was at a very high levels. Now, like 20 minutes ago, they posted a photo of the pizza index and it's at unprecedented levels in the US, which means that something is happening in the Pentagon right now.
Well, that
I
tracks.
find it,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
I
they
actually
shared
find it
stop
funny.
pizza ordering, basically.
Yes, yes, I find it funny that they actually use it, but it is a thing.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
shared a whole bunch of articles in the chat if you guys can read up on it. The first one was the E1. Second one, the United Nations accused Israel, West Bank apartheid, and they used a actual term called S. I can't even pronounce the word. Let me look it up. Xiation.
Wait, hold on.